What is going on, friends, family, and fellow resellers? I'm Tom, the Queen City Picker, and I want to welcome you to episode 4 of Let's Talk About It. And tonight we're going to be talking about why you resell, why you chose eBay as your selling platform. So before we get started, I want to introduce you to the two people that's on our panel, and hopefully some more might show up. Deb and Valerie. And Valerie has stepped away for a few minutes. And give me a second to get caught up. Hey, Jim, Tara. Hey, Hank. So, Deb, you want to talk about why you started reselling?
Oh, I started reselling because I had been living down in Florida for a while, and my ex-boyfriend was working, and I didn't have a job at the time. And then we broke up, and I came back home, and it was kind of hard for me to find something. And then I decided to start selling on Etsy, and I was selling jewelry and bracelets that I made. And then I forgot who I was watching, but I was watching somebody, and they said it was better if you had 2 platforms to sell on in case something happened with one of them, you weren't stuck. So I decided to start selling on eBay. So I sell on Etsy and eBay and Poshmark and Mercari. But that's why I started selling on eBay.
How about you, Tara?
How did I get started selling on eBay?
Yeah, why did you start reselling?
Well, it's been a long time, but back in the beginning, we were part-time resellers, and we would just try to pay for our own habit of going to auctions. Me and Jim used to like to go, well, we still like going to auctions, but we would go to auctions purely as the buyer, or we would want to buy cool stuff to keep for ourselves. And we started buying other stuff to pay for the stuff we started keeping for ourselves. Jim was at this time selling real estate, and I had a job, and I also had the horse business. And then horses got a little tough up here when the gas got up around $5 a gallon, and hay prices went way up, and the economy got a little weak here, so the horse business went down, and real estate business wasn't doing good. And we just started morphing into selling more and more on eBay to pick up the slack, for work. And then I lost my job, and so we just kept trying to wrap it up, and it just kind of morphed into us doing it full time. I mean, I can't say I came with a plan, I have a business plan and I'm going to sell on eBay full time. And it just kind of just progressed that way. I don't know how else to describe it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like 2009, and it was like my mom passed away. I had to bury my mom. I lost my job the same month my mother passed away. Real estate was really sucky. I mean, it was just like all this stuff was hitting us in the summer of 2009, and we just decided to really ramp it up and try to make it work because I live in an area where there are no jobs. So, and that's just what we did. But I can't say when we decided to do that in 2009, I can't say I was like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a full-time living on it. It just went that way. It just progressed that way. I don't know how else to describe it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just kind of.
I don't think I'm very good at describing. It evolved in that direction. I mean, it was like a necessity thing. It's like, all of a sudden one day, stuff is like, oh my God, I lost my job. My mother passed away, and I had thousands of dollars in funeral expenses, and then it's like I got to figure something out. So anyway, and that's how it happened.
Yeah, so you were like, this has to work. We have to make this work.
Yeah, but when I was in it at that time, I can't say I thought like, well, this has to. I didn't think that way. I just thought we need. At the time, did I know it was going to be exactly a viable income? I mean, I can't say that. It just when you sell on eBay, ideally, every year you're going to find yourself making more money. You
When
know.
when I told your boss you were quitting,
Yeah, he quit my job for me.
I knew we were going to do this whole time.
Oh, okay. He did. I'm not kidding. He's still on the edge of still being a real estate agent. And him and his father had sold this mall in our area. And I came in they hired me on as a caretaker. They decided to switch companies, but they wanted me to work on weekends and the other company would work during the week. And Jim's like, no, I don't think we're going to do that. We're just going to quit. I'm like, are you sure this is such a good idea just to quit this job? I'm an independent contractor for this job. I don't get unemployment or anything.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, I think you're crazy. This is like, my mom has been passed away maybe a week and a half. I mean, we just got done burying her. I mean, she didn't really have any of his estate. I dug to bury her. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, Jim, I think you've lost your mind. And it just progressed that way. I mean, we did the flea markets in the summer. We had that caretaking job, which we still have to get rid of. And then we just kept filling it in with eBay, and pretty soon eBay just kind of took it over. I don't know how else to describe it. It was a necessity. We had to figure out a way to make money.
Jim, your job basically just ran out because of the economy, right? With the real estate.
It was nobody could get lending anymore for a residential property. It was really bad. Him and his dad were doing commercial properties. His dad got sick. His dad was a broker in the office. His dad got sick and had to retire.
It was Dodd-Frank.
Yeah, and
Frank Dodd, whatever that law, the regulations they passed on the bank to protect us from the bubble. Well, they popped the damn bubble. I mean, if you look at the calendar, when the crisis started, it was right around the time of the regulations.
Yeah.
So when they froze lending in the United States, of course, the economy immediately tanked. That was completely artificial.
Yeah, I mean, Jim would drive people around, and they had an intention of buying a house, and they just didn't have the ability. They'd be like, well, the bank were pre-approved. But then when they get down to writing the offer and go through the finalizations of financing, they just couldn't get it put together. I mean, and if they were like a couple that had, like, let's say they had bought a car, and they had a car note, and Jim's like, oh man, I hope this car ain't on a loan, because it's going to be tough to get lending. And that's what happens. Well, there ain't very many people out there in that 30-year-old age bracket that if they drive a decent vehicle, probably is loaned on. It's probably got a car note, It just made it really tough to get lending.
Yeah. Anyway, the economy is bad all the way around. It's bad rich people were hurt or people with good pensions.
There's an interesting point, though, because I remember when this happened. Remember your brother said banks, they were making money. Weren't they buying
they were
US
buying
savings?
government. No, well, they're buying government T-bills or whatever.
And they didn't really want to give out home lending.
No, they're making a fraction of a % interest, but they're investing millions, and then that's how that's how the banks weathered it by not giving it, and they didn't. They just quit doing residential lending.
Anyway, but that's kind of a boring opinion on real estate. But so that's how it morphed into it.
Real estate was no longer viable.
I remember during the same period, friends, because I worked in the industry. I was not in the like in a real estate office, but I remember realtors that I dealt with. They're like, "Hey man, are you selling anything?" And they're like, "We're riding people around, but when it gets to the point of getting the money, it's just not."
Well, yeah, and there's something like when you sell real estate, probably people don't really realize it. Every month you have your MLS dues. You have to, as a real estate agent, you have to pay your MLS dues every month. And then right around Christmas time or the beginning of January, you have your yearly dues, which are like, I don't know, $1,800, Well, it gets tough if you ain't making any sales or you want to go cough up that $1,800 right after, Christmas and right before first half of property taxes and stuff. I mean, that is kind of sometimes a hard bullet to bite if you ain't making the sales in real estate.
It's and there's all the expenses, the gasoline, and like you said, gasoline was not as high up. I mean, I remember it got close to $4 a gallon down here.
Yeah, it was like 5 here.
And
Well, not quite,
like
almost.
480.
Yeah.
And you'd go to restaurants and or to stores, and you would see people that selling real estate that's working in retail or in a restaurant just to make sure they can pay their own bills and that kind of thing. It was just really terrible.
I will say before that really hit, I never knew anyone that had their house foreclosed on. I never knew anybody that had that. I will say during that time period, I can tell you at least 10 to 15 people that were, I would call acquaintance friends or kind of friends of the family that I knew had gotten in trouble and lost their homes during that time. I mean, it was bad.
It's it was just a bad time for everybody. And with the interest rates going like it was doing, I mean, Jim, I'm gonna say Jim's not old enough. I remember back in the 70s when people were getting 16% mortgages on houses.
No, I'm real estate family. My parents were doing real estate back then, so yeah, I remember it.
Okay,
I
you were
remember
probably
the
a kid back
17%
then.
interest rates.
Which I was a kid back then too, but I'd hear my mom and dad talking about business being so slow because the interest rates and people were not buying houses, so people weren't developing property. So my dad's business, was slowed down really bad, and a lot of companies didn't make it. Hey, Valerie, I'm glad to see you back. Why did you get into reselling?
Uh-oh. We can't
Oh,
hear
no.
you.
No volume, Valerie. Yeah, no sound.
Nope. Nope. Oh, she's gonna leave and come back.
Okay.
I think that's what she meant.
I got in reselling.
Okay. She'll be back.
Okay. I got in reselling just to make some extra money because my job, when the economy, like Jim was talking about, I worked for a family business and we were in land surveying, and the economy was just really tanking and business was real slow. At one point we had $1 million worth of work ready to get started, and then on Monday morning we got phone calls started coming in saying forget it. They've canceled it because they didn't have the money available.
Oh man!
So one thing came to another one, and I took an early retirement, so to speak. My wife has a really good job, so money's has not been bad.
Oh.
Even when she was having her liver transplant, we were going all through that. We were in good shape, and with 3 small kids at the time. Well, you know this, Tara, and Deb, you remember it from when your kid was little. You got school crap going on, and you got doctor's appointments and orthodontist and all this kind of mess that you got to deal with. And, it was really not being as old as I am and all the gray hair I've got. And if anybody in the audience has got a lot of gray hair and you're not going to get paid what you should get paid because of all the knowledge. Like I could go in and I could run an office. Well, they don't want somebody to run an office. They need to come in and make sure all the bills get paid, or their customers are getting paid or paying their bills, that kind of thing. Which means that they don't make it. You don't make as much money, and so I did some part-time stuff and started selling on eBay, which I was selling on. I sold a few things on eBay. I remember the first thing I sold on eBay was a little porcelain tea set that I got from a dollar store. And it sold for like $9 plus shipping. And I thought, oh my God, this is great. And so I started selling some on it, and I sell a good bit of stuff on Craigslist too. But that's how I kind of started reselling, just kind of to make extra money and that type of thing.
Yeah.
eBay is just there. I mean, it's easy to use. It's easy to use. I mean, you can't get more basic than that. They advertise a lot on TV, so you get, it's out there. I remember when you could, just about every other commercial was, the eBay thing, singing and dancing. But it's got, it's a point where, like I said, it's just an easy platform to get started on.
Yeah, and like we enjoy it. I mean, I'll say we like it. I mean, I think we're good at it, but we also like what we do. Jim, like he said, I'll never go back into selling real estate. And we've had we're moving away. There's a company here. He's tried to hire Jim like 3-4 times, and Jim's like, no, I'm done selling real estate. I'm done doing that. I just don't want to do that kind of stuff anymore. But we like it. I mean, when we started out, I mean, I think back to like 2009, we sold a lot of stuff that what we knew at that time. I mean, at that time, we knew a lot of snowmobile stuff. We sold a lot of snowmobile stuff. I mean, I might have sold some horse stuff in there. And then we started watching YouTube videos. Somehow Jim came across, well, first we were watching this. We had this VHS set, and it was like for selling on eBay. And the guy was really good. He had really good advice. And I have him packed away somewhere. I can't remember the guy's name, but actually he had really good advice. And then we started kind of watching the stuff on YouTube. And then I started picking up stuff because I remember so this is like 9 or 10, like Pendleton shirts used to do better. I'm like, really? Because I mean, we have those everywhere up here. And then we start figuring, oh yeah, we can make money selling clothes, or, oh, you can sell that. We can make money selling that. And it just kind of built off of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, I like watching y'all's YouTube channel because I like seeing and I've said this before, I like seeing all the stuff that y'all sell. I like seeing all the stuff that Bridget sells and Nikki sells, and people like the Alabama Picker, because he buys all kinds of bizarre stuff. Well, I say bizarre stuff that I would never think about selling.
Yeah.
I've sold a bunch of VCR manuals and appliance manuals that I've just gotten for free. And I've sold them, I've made $2 or $3 off of them, which isn't a lot, but
I've sold a few remotes too that I never thought that, would sell. Used remotes that don't go to, I don't have the VCR. Just the remote.
And like y'all, you've talked about in the past, Jim's talked about, y'all talked about, you got a motor for nearly nothing, an outboard motor, and y'all sold off pieces of it.
Yeah, or we've sold them whole. I mean, I think that was this summer. We did a video where we bought a pair of, they were like 5 or 6 horse Evinrudes.
Right.
Yeah, we sold them locally.
We sold them locally, not on eBay. We picked them up. I think I paid $75 for the pair, and I sold them for $500 a piece, 5 or 5.5. I can't remember. So I turned $75 into like $1,000. I mean, where else are you gonna do that?
And I clean the carburetors. I drain the lower units. I change the lower unit oil. I'll do spook out other problems, like if it's got like an ignition coil problem or something like that. But I mean, I'm not a mechanic. I just learned how to do it because we would buy these things cheap and had to get fixed. So I just go on YouTube and figure out and learn how to fix this stuff.
Now that might not be, that's not for everybody, because if you're in a situation where you live
if you don't have YouTube, you wouldn't be able to do it.
No, I mean, like, but if you live in like a small, like, suburban lot where you maybe have an HOA, you can't go stack up 50 outboard motors in your backyard without somebody, having a hissy fit.
But I do think sometimes people are afraid to do stuff because they're like, oh, well, I've never done that before. I wouldn't know how to do something like that. Well, yeah, I could tell you in the last 5 years or 6 years, I'm doing all sorts of stuff I never did before. Yeah. And if you got to do it, I mean, if you got to hunt to eat, you're going to learn how to hunt. And I mean, you have YouTube. There's not barely anything that you can find that there's not a video on. I mean, if you need to fix something, just go on YouTube. Somebody's done a video on it. If they haven't, figure out how to fix it, and then do your own video, and it'll probably get a lot of views.
Yeah, it's Let me just say it. It's YouTube has just changed. It really has changed the world.
Oh yeah, it's awesome
because you can find out how much you can find out just about how to do anything.
Yeah, anything you want to fix, you just type it into YouTube.
It's a friend of mine has a Chevy Traverse, one of the older models. Not the current model, but styling, but the one before that. And he was going to change a light bulb on it and a headlight on it. And we started watching a video, and you had to take the whole front, all that plastic part off the front of it. And he's like, it looked real simple, but he had gone out and spent $150 on tools. And
yeah, that was Jim with that Volkswagen Bug. He had to change the radiator out, and you have to take the whole front clip, the headlights, everything off of it. That's how he did it. He went on YouTube and watched videos on it.
Yeah, if you have a Volkswagen, the new Volkswagen Beetles, the ones that they started making in like 1998, I guess they quit making them now, or they made the longer one. But yeah, those Volkswagen Beetles, anything you got to fix, it's real simple. You just got to take the whole car apart.
It's a friend of mine. She had a Volkswagen Beetle, and about once a year, her father would pull the engine out of it and redo, put new rings in the box in the engine, or wherever you put the rings at. He would put new rings in it because that sucker would blow oil.
So she had like one of those old Beetles.
Yeah, one of the old Beetles.
Yeah, because those are made. I think the engine was made to run 40,000 miles, and then you were supposed to take it into Volkswagen. They'd pull out your engine and switch it. In Germany, that's the way they were supposed to be made. But here people were like, "What?" But I guess in Germany that made sense. That's why it was only held in by 4 bolts. Mechanic could very easily take the engine out, put in your new engine, and send you on your way, and then rebuild the one you left.
He would pull that sucker out. He would pull that engine out and have it redone and stuck in one Saturday. and he loved it. But he also bought and sold bugs. He would buy them for nothing. Because they said they'd start sounding like they're about to blow up. And he would buy them and fix the engines in them, and he would make a couple of $1,000s on them. I bet half the kid, my senior year in high school, I bet half the kids at that school that was driving bugs had bought their parents had bought them from him.
Oh boy! So did Valerie's sound come back?
I don't know. Nope. No, Valerie.
When I find the right squad, the right screen, the right squad.
Just punch it, Valerie.
Valerie?
Yeah. She still has no sound.
And she's got a show to do, and she's got to do in the morning. Is she shooting the bird at me?
No, she's working on her computer.
Hang on just a second. I'm trying to get a link.
I will say with like me and Jim, it makes us hungry to go to auctions, to go and find stuff. Because we fly a little bit without the safety net. Because neither of us have any kind of income coming in other than what we sell on eBay. So we have to try to make the sales on eBay so that we can pay our bills every month.
Nope.
It's since I've been watching what people sell, it's made it interesting. Really, instead of just going around and going to flea markets and things like that, and just looking at what's there, you kind of start looking outside of your normal out of your comfort zone. Because I've got plumbing fixtures I would have never thought to buy if I hadn't seen this thing that Dusty had talked about, Alabama pickers.
Vintage plumbing fixtures, architectural salvage. I love that kind of stuff. And you'll buy a box lot of it at an auction, and it all will sell usually. I mean, 90% of it will sell.
It's there's a guy down here who buys. He'll go in and tear down old houses and just he'll tears them down for free. But he gets all the old hinges and things like that, and he resells them.
Yeah,
but he actually sells to a company, to someplace in Philadelphia. They buy all this stuff, and I bet they make a daggum mint off of it up there.
Yeah, but they're in the place where they're selling it direct to the contractors or the people that want to put that in their house. So,
right.
Hey, I'm happy with the taste I get off of it. If it goes to another dealer that makes more money off of it, that don't bother me at all. Well, because I've bought it probably for let's say I paid $10 for a box full of it, and I've divided it out and I've sold it for whatever I get per unit on it. I mean, I'm like pure profit on it. So what do I care if he makes some money on me because he has access to a buyer that maybe I don't get access to for whatever reason.
Right.
That doesn't bother me at all.
No.
When you said that,
go ahead.
Let me get closer. When you said that guy was flipping those Volkswagens, that did remind me, though, when I was a kid, I was probably about 11, 12 years old, they'd have a fundraising auction once a year here. Oh, Valerie's coming in.
Go for it.
I heard noises.
You might have.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, yes.
But go ahead, Jim, and then we'll let...
Okay, so I buy these boats at these rowboats because the auction was always in the fall, and nobody's buying rowboats in the fall because they got to store them, and I'd buy them for between $15 to $20, and in the spring my mom would go put an ad on the radio. We'd have this thing where you'd call into the radio and people would listen to it. It was about 2 hours every weekday morning. It was called the Trading Post, and you'd say I got a lawnmower to sell or a boat to sell or whatever. And my mom would sell those boats for about $100, those rowboats. So I was making money. I was 11, probably 11, 12 years old. I was probably making about $80 a boat. And I'd buy like 4 or 5 of them the previous fall. So I guess I was doing it since I was a little kid.
And his dad would totally complain about it.
Oh, yeah, my dad would just bitch in high C.
Easy. That's swear words were alive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the big word is...
Hey,
oh, sir.
Was it Jim? Was it you that was telling the story about your dad would come home and in the woods behind your house you would store cars that you had bought somewhere?
Yeah. He had, oh my God, and this made us sick when we were into snowmobiles. He had somehow, when he was a child, obtained a Yamaha race snowmobile with the aluminum tunnel, early 70s sled. And it ended up going for junk because we would be like, and we got into I
hid it in the woods, and and
you couldn't get it out.
I couldn't get it out because the trees grew around it. And then when we left, I was a kid, I couldn't get it out. I had to leave it there.
Anyway, but we were so mad, we got really into vintage snowmobiles. We're like, oh my God! I mean, that thing. If it was still there, we could go get it because it was probably like over $1,000.
Tara's trying to talk me into going back in there. She's like, well, we could go back to that house and go through the woods or whatever. I'm like, it's stealing. You can't go. There's no way I can claim ownership.
Anyway, put it there. Anyway,
that's my story.
Were y'all living at the river? Is that where
Jim
you grew up?
When he was a kid, we have a we live in Eagle River, Wisconsin. There's a chain of lakes here. The Wisconsin River goes into this chain of lakes. When he was a kid, he grew up on the chain. His house was on the river. So, yes, that's the house he's talking about.
Yeah, and we ran the river. I mean, when I was a kid, you got your boater safety thing at 13, and it was like having a car because we have a continuous chain of lakes. All your friends lived on the river or lake.
And
too.
it goes through town and everything. Yeah. Anyway.
It was your highway.
Well, since Valerie's got her mic going now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I hear you.
Why did you start reselling, Valerie?
Why did I start? I have always done something. I have always sold something. I've always had something going on the side. I've always worked like a 9-to-5 job. And when I got started in this, actually Sally's the one that got me hooked up with it. She was telling me what she was doing. I was like, well, that's a good idea, And so I started getting into it. I started watching videos. I started just, being all about it. And I'm the type of person I'll dive in and I'll figure things out as I go. So, I was doing it on my lunch hour after work. And that's kind of how I got started.
You were just making extra money?
Yeah, just extra money. That was my mad money. That was the money that I would go to California and see the kids.
This was after you moved to Kansas.
It was, yeah. It's after I moved to Kansas. Probably, I don't know. Well, 2015.
And you started with eBay because everybody does eBay.
Well, I mean that was just at that time that was the only platform that I knew about.
Right.
And then of course, as I started listening to other videos, and I would listen to videos on the way to work, on my lunch hour, on my way home. I had an hour commute either way. So, and I was just trying to soak up as much information as I possibly could. So, and then of course, with me and Sally working together, she would learn, I would learn something, and we'd share it with each other, and that really helped because we could, help each other basically.
And you sell on a bunch of other platforms now, also.
Right now, I sell on, what do I sell on? Etsy, Bonanza, Together, Mark, and Macari, and Etsy. Did I say Etsy already? I don't know. I can't.
Yeah. First.
Or you mentioned Together or something like that? Or
Together and Bonanza.
What is Together? I mean, is it like kind of like eBay or certain type items?
Like Bonanza.
Yeah, it's just like Bonanza. You just import your eBay store and they take care of it. They sell it.
And
it's one of those things where you don't really have to do anything to it. You just when they send you an email that you sold something, then you ship it off.
Deb, you sell on eBay and Etsy
and Poshmark and Macari.
And Jim and Tara, y'all sell on eBay. You sell on anything else?
We did do the Bonanza and the Together, Yeah, we do that. We don't get a lot of sales over there. I mean, there isn't enough sales there to make a living, but everything primarily is eBay for us.
Right. And now Craig.
Glenn.
No,
Glenn.
That's
Sorry.
Let's see, eBay and Poshmark.
No. Have you been what got you into why did you start reselling? And
I guess
Why did you pick
eBay. I guess. Well, basically, I started doing eBay mainly because I had a lot of pocket knives. Me and my dad used to sell at the gun and knife shows back in late '70s, very early '80s, and we quit around '82, bit from like '79 to '82. But I still got a lot of those knives, majority of them. And I've been selling a few of them or donating them for auctions for certain people before.
Right.
But I guess about 2010, I did that about for 4 years on and off, but I only put like 1 or 2 up at a time, not many. I didn't really pursue it. Then, like I said, living in an apartment, I always had empty walls. Well, I need to go buy some pictures and different things. And that got me going to garage sales. In some way, I guess I saw some items and all that. I don't know, I got it myself and didn't need it and got on eBay. Well, maybe I could sell on eBay and started watching videos that way. And all that. But I actually still got my very first item I ever bought on eBay, at a garage sale for $1. It was a clock from the 1900s.
Wow.
And all that. So I'm going to keep that one for a souvenir. And I bought some other ones kind of like it, like mantle clocks. And all that. But that kind of got me into doing the eBay deal. Then like Poshmark, I started doing that, I guess, about not quite a year, maybe April of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I was on a video, and I guess it was me, Andy, Lonnie, Shane, and Lauren was on there saying, "Hey, if you guys are doing eBay, clothes, you need to do it on Poshmark." And that's what got me kind of started. And the first item I listed, 15 hours, I sold it.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I've mentioned it before. Recently, I've seen eBay and Poshmark. They're getting back into advertising on TV.
Yeah.
And
well, eBay does NASCAR. If you ever watch NASCAR, they're kind of heavy into NASCAR as far as advertising.
Right.
But to me, NASCAR is a dying sport too.
Well, I live 45 minutes away from Charlotte Motor Speedway or whatever they call it now.
The heart of it.
Yeah, and people are not into it like they used to be.
Right. Well, you look in the stands, you watch the TV. I knew a guy that used to work for CBS Motorsports or CBS Sports, doing the camera deal, and he did the basketball, all the big games, the Olympics, everything. And he said they were told very not to be careful when you scan the stands. Make sure there's no empty spots. And that was like 15 years ago.
This is off topic, but I think a lot of the big venue sports are kind of like slowly dying off.
Right.
I mean, like when the Panthers play, which that's the Panthers, there's a lot of seats vacant.
It costs too much money for a family of 3 or 4 to go, like a husband, wife, or a couple of buddies. You bring 2 kids, you're broke.
Yeah, I mean it's just so expensive. They had Chelsea, the FIFA team Chelsea and somebody else came and played at the Panther Stadium, and that sucker was full. I mean, literally from the field side seats all the way up to the nosebleed sections. It was totally full. But we used to have a lot of mom and pop shops around here with NASCAR, and all that's gone. And it used to be you go to a flea market and you would find, everybody was selling NASCAR stuff. And that's kind of like dying out too. Yeah. Now it's all this dollar stuff from China.
Well, they made too much of it too. It's kind of like baseball cards,
Back when Hallmark first came out with the Star Trek Christmas ornaments, the very first one, which was the classic series of the Enterprise, they only made a few of those, and they sold out fast. And on the secondary market, they were going for $300 and $400. Well, they don't go for that now. The next thing they brought out was the Shuttle Galileo, and they made like 5 times the number. And, they had an abundance of those. So you could actually buy them cheaper than the original retail price.
Glenn, you have a motorcycle shop. Do you sell motorcycle parts on eBay or no?
Yeah, I actually do. I got an eBay store just for my shop.
Oh, okay.
And I got a little bit over 650 items on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff is from the 80s and all that, when we used to sell all kind of stuff. I got 5%, I say 3% of the items that I got on there now are current. If even if that, but most of it's stuff you can't even buy anymore, or hard to find stuff.
Yeah.
And I ship a lot of it to Australia too, which is in the UK and all that. A lot of those places there.
We sold and it was a parts bike. It was a Suzuki, I think. And a guy drove from San Diego, California, all the way up here to northern Wisconsin. He had bought he had a trailer with about 30, 40 bikes on it. Right. He came from San Diego and did this whole East Coast tour and picking up all these bikes and then headed back out to San Diego.
Right. Yeah, you get people that do that buy salvage and all that, and they say, I can rob 10 parts off of it, and that bike and sell it for, especially if they, like you said, go to somebody like you and they know they got 20 other stops and make a big loop back home.
Yeah. We used to do it with snowmobiles. I mean, we would go on with this day trip. We'd only go Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. We just do this big day trip and we'd go around and we'd pick up about 10, 12 sleds and then bring them home. It was crazy.
Why didn't y'all ever come to North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia?
Because don't got no snowmobiles down there.
Most people would look at those things and go, what do you do with that thing?
You ride it, and it's fun. It's like riding a motorcycle.
Well, I know that. But I'm just saying, down here, unless you can run them in mud or sand,
Well, you can put a wheel kit on the front of them, but it does wreck the slides when you run them in dirt. And if they're liquid cooled, because the cooling fins are in the tunnel, they need snow to cool the engine.
Oh. We had I had a Honda 350.
I thought you were going to tell me you had a snowmobile.
No.
What the heck were you doing with that?
350 was a scrambler, right, or something like that. I think.
I don't remember what it was called, but it was a pretty little red bike, candy apple red. And I rode that thing, My girlfriend's father wouldn't let her ride on it with me. Not that I was a bad driver or anything like that. He just didn't want her on the back of nobody's motorcycle.
You're probably like Hell's Angels or something.
No,
I used to have a few of those in my shop. Well, I did all mainly off-road. So when they came in, they were buying stuff for their kids, mini bikes or something like that.
Yeah.
It was we had the scooter thing too. It looked sort of like, what do you call it? The Italian motor scooters,
like a Vespa.
Yeah, like a Vespa.
The old type moped.
Of those, and that's what my older brother learned to ride, and then we got a couple of 350s. But I bet that thing's worth some money now. Whatever happened to it.
Now, Tom, when you rolled up on that 350, did you have a motorcycle trophy wired to the handlebars and a leather motorcycle cap like Brando from the Wild One?
Nah.
Maybe that's what scared her dad.
We had no, that wasn't it. I would ride it over to my girlfriend's house, and then her father would make me drive it. If we were going to go someplace, he'd make me drive his Corolla.
Watch it. This thing adds J's in just for no reason, and I'm nowhere near the J when I'm typing.
This keyboard's also bad?
Oh, look, it just adds J's in. Is my computer dying or something?
You might be dying. Neuropathy.
Oh no, it didn't do it, but it's been doing it the whole time.
Sure.
If I'm typing a word that's nowhere near the J, I mean, I'm not crazy. It's adding J's.
Tara can't type and she's blaming. Now we're on our second keyboard now. We had to shut down the computer and replace the keyboard, but the keyboard keeps making mistakes.
No, it was doing this I would be typing, and then it would like if I typed the word all, it would just start continuously like putting
Hey, watch
L's
with your
on
hands.
it.
You're gonna spill your drink.
I don't even have a drink here. Anyway, okay, you should go back to why you're selling on eBay.
I'm glad to see that you made it back from the farm.
Yeah. When did he come back? He came back home Monday night.
Yeah,
But I got to get rid of him again. I'm trying to pack him up and get him back out. Oh yeah! Oh my God!
I blew a drive shaft carrier bearing on the way down, and then on the way up, I mean, I don't even get rattled anymore. Oh yeah, there's a red light on the dashboard. Oh, I blew my alternator.
So in Indiana, he had to switch out his alternator at
Lebanon, Indiana.
AutoZone.
Yeah, the AutoZone.
Are you carrying your full toolbox with you now?
No, with those AutoZones, they got a toolbox there.
They let you use their
They
tools
let
for
you
free.
use their toolbox. Right away. I hit the phone. Android popped in closest AutoZone. Lebanon's got a whole bunch of them, so I pulled into the closest one. It was about 2 miles from where I was on the Highway 65. Pulled into the place. Said I need an alternator and your loaner toolkit.
Wow.
So they had the alternator in stock. He gave me the toolkit, and in about an hour, I was out of there. Installed the alternator, and I was back on the street.
Sweet.
Yeah,
$200 poor.
Yeah, I guess a couple of years ago, I stopped in there and got I needed some radiator fluid. It was about a year ago, and bought it and all that. So y'all have a funnel, those paper funnels or anything I can use? Oh no, we don't have funnels here. You know, a lot of those auto sports, they got those paper funnels. You know, you can just throw away and use one time. But that pissed me off when they told me, man, we don't have nothing.
Oh. This is the second time we've had to change an alternator. He's had to change an alternator at the parking lot of an AutoZone, and they've been real nice. One was in Wisconsin and one was in Indiana, and they were real nice, letting them use tools.
Well, one
stuff.
of them, the first time, the other alternator on the other one, the store had closed, and they're like, "Yeah, we can get back into the store, but our cash registers, the computer shuts our register down." So, but I needed a battery because my battery was shot. Besides the alternator, the worker drove her to Walmart to go buy a battery.
Wow.
Because it was like a mile away, and she's like, "No, you can't walk that far. I'll drive you." So one of the assistant managers drove Tara all the way to the Walmart to go get the battery. I mean, you couldn't ask for better service than that, I guess.
Well, I hope you sing their praises.
Nikki's here. Nikki can tell you how she got started on eBay.
Yeah, Nikki, how did you get started on eBay? On eBay.
I've always been an auction person, but eBay gave me a reason to keep going to auctions. And also, I've always been kind of into eBay and Etsy. And hold on.
Hi, Gary.
Why are you whispering?
You sound like a person, little kid on I See Dead
like
People.
a spooky movie, like I See Dead People.
Yeah, I'm saying I See Dead People. Hey, what's his name? Haley Goldman or whatever. I can't
Hey,
name
Gary. Wait.
Yeah, I wouldn't know his name.
He said hi. Anyways, I've always been into the internet stuff and eBay and Etsy, and I'm always been looking for ways to make more money. So it kind of gave me a way to make extra money. And then when I went on Workman's, I used to be a semi driver, and I can't do that anymore. So I ended up having to take some jobs as just jobs I didn't like, and so it gave me a way to quit my job. That's why I went totally full time. Not that exciting. But it gives me a way to go to auctions, and I can get rid of my stuff so I can keep going to auctions.
Well, Gary your husband likes to go into auctions too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well,
that's kind of our date night. Go to auctions.
You said tonight's wasn't that good, right?
Huh?
Didn't you say that tonight's auction wasn't that good?
Yeah, there really wasn't anything there.
Yeah, it's that time
Nothing
of
that I wanted.
Up here.
Yeah, it's that time of year for auctions where it's just
up here.
crappy.
Yeah, you get some stinkers.
Yeah, they're short on inventory. I mean, they're short on stuff that people are bringing to the auction, but everybody's got their tax return, so they're spending money like,
on junk.
Yeah, they're bidding you up on absolute trash. It's like it's not a good time.
You mentioned date night. I was talking to my neighbor just earlier today, and he said that he and his wife were going to go out. That he was taking his wife out for dinner. And I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "Oh, we're going out to Costco's. I can get her a hot dog and a large soda for $1.50, and then we can pick up some stuff for the house."
Or you can get a pizza too and a drink for $1.50 or $2, I think.
I told him, I said, "You're a big spender." He said, "Well, half the time we can just split one hot dog between the two of us."
Oh my!
Oh my God.
One time my dad had a new girlfriend, and one
Is
of his
that me?
what is that noise? One of his first dates.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you, Tara.
My dad had a new girlfriend, and one of his first dates, he took her to the annual auction up here. He said, "Come on, I'll take you to an auction, and I'll really splurge and buy you a hot dog." He said I didn't want her to have any false expectations that I was gonna get anything fancy for me.
Do y'all carry a certain brand motorcycle, or y'all just are
This
you
is KTM.
You what?
KTM. European bike. I've been doing
Okay.
it since like 88.
So that's your main line or your only line?
Yeah, that's the only line in parts. We sell parts all over.
Bye, Summer.
It's when I grew up down in Rock Hill, they had a motorcycle shop, and they had everything. I think every brand that there was made, they had, because otherwise you had to drive all the way to Charlotte, or you had to drive to Columbia to find a bike or whatever, or parts for it. They had a huge building for parts.
Yeah, our building's less than 2,000, about 1,800 square feet. No, it's not very big, but we got. I mean, it's showing. It's hardly very little space. For what I need to do. I need it to be about triple the size, really.
Now you're down in Louisiana.
Louisiana, yeah.
It's I always thought about getting back into riding bikes, and then I had two friends to get hit by cars, and I just decided no.
I'm not much into on the street stuff. Basically, off road. That's all I do. Motocross, or my background's more off road in the woods and all that. I do all the track stuff as far as spectating and selling parts to the track people. I don't know if you ever watch Supercross on TV where they do the stadium racing.
Right.
A lot of that stuff,
Me and my husband used to drive a motorcycle until there was no place for the car seat. So
That's like a buddy of mine had was it a 65 or 66 split window
Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
And he had it until the first kid came along.
Yeah.
That'd be valuable now, probably.
Well, he actually swapped it. He swapped it to his dad for a Blazer, and so he ended up years later. He ended up getting it back, but until he got it back, his dad drove it, and because there's just no place for car seats.
That's actually one car that I would like to one day. It's on my bucket list. I would like to buy one and restore it.
Well, let me tell you what. For the cool sum of $88,000, you can get one from the Chevy.
No, thank you. I don't want that. I want.
When I was having work done on my vehicle, I looked at them. They're pretty. I mean, they are really pretty. The new ones. And I was looking at it, and the salesman came out there, and he's like, "You want to go for a ride?" And I'm like, "Nope," because once I got in it, I couldn't get out. Because it only sits like 6 inches off the daggum ground, and my knees and my fat behind just would not work it. I said, no, I need to go something with more like that new Traverse over there or a pickup truck, something that I can slide in and out, not have to stand up out of.
Well, Valerie, you said you want to get one to restore. Is that what you said, to restore it?
Restore.
So she doesn't want a new one. Is that Luggy?
That's Luggy.
Oh my God, it's Luggy.
Hi, Diesel's here too.
My dad, he's a mechanic. I mean, he doesn't work as a he's retired, and he used to be a machinist, but you know, he's very handy. He likes to work on cars, or did. I grew up with that as far as, you know, not really a gearhead, but I would love to do that. I don't know. Just one of my.
That's when you have the dream garage, so you can work on the dream, you know, restore a car. It takes a lot of room.
Yep.
Well, you know, I grew up because it was in the 70s and they hadn't gone to everything having a computer on it now.
Mm.
You know, I knew how to, I changed brake shoes. I knew how to put universal joints in, all of that kind of mess. And nowadays, you know, you got to have a $20,000 diagnostic machine just to see what's
That's
wrong.
why you don't have any independent car deal mechanics anymore too, because of that computer stuff.
Yeah.
Only the can afford them.
The good thing is both of my son-in-laws are mechanics. So, and they're welders and they're fabricators. So I've got, you know, on both sides I have some help. So
Yeah, that's really cool.
it could happen. It could really happen.
It could.
Well, Glenn, you were just talking about like the newer cars.
Right.
We had at the shop that I worked at, I answered the phones and took the appointments, but we had decided to bring a kid from the high school who was taking auto shop.
Right.
So he would come in, and for like a couple days a week, he would work on the cars. But he was doing it for like the racing cars, and
Right.
we had, what did we have? I think we had like a 1977 station wagon come in,
Right.
and we were like, yeah, you can go ahead and work on that car. And we gave him the list of stuff to do, and he opened the hood and he's like, holy cow, what's with all these hoses? He didn't know what they were because he never worked on something like that before.
Right.
So
Okay.
we had to teach him about all the hoses and you know, he was just like, oh my God, well, what are these? And we were like, well, they're vacuum lines.
Yeah, even your newer dirt bikes, you know, a lot of the big 4-strokes and all that require a computer to work on a dirt bike.
You know, a buddy of mine, he and his brother, they run rally cars.
Right.
And they go all over the world.
That's expensive too. I got
Well, their grandfather has big pockets.
right. Well, the kid here is one in Lafayette does it, and all that owns like oil wells, and there's like 6 or 7 brothers. And he drove for Ford Motorsports. He actually he was in the X Games and finished last a couple of years ago when it was on TV.
And that thing that they have, it is, you would think that it would have the least amount of electronics on it, their rally car. And they, you know, I've seen it. They can plug a terminal in. It looks like it should be the gas hatch on the back of the car, but it's actually where the computer plugs into. And it'll go through that thing in just seconds, you know, saying everything that's wrong with that car. And like I said, I would think that it would take a tremendous beating, all those electronics out on those. If you've seen them on TV, you know, they are just.
They have very high speed. Usually they're like racing on gravel roads and different things, and 100 miles an hour.
This one sounds like a bee when they run.
But yeah, so it's like an Indy car. They sound like Indy cars, and usually Saabs, Audis, and certain, I think Ford and all that. But it's like an Indy car almost.
That's what the motorbikes sound like. The 250s, they sound like a bunch of bees.
Yeah.
500. They
Well, the
sound
2
cool.
strokes, the 4 strokes. I'm not a 4-stroke fan. I'm over 2-stroke. You know that. Yeah, but you use 2-strokes, especially I remember like Banshees and all that. That usually have 2 carburetors on it. Those sound like Indy cars almost. You know, when they, revving them up.
I was thinking horses shop. I'm going to tell Tara she needed to get her, go ahead and order her tickets for the Carolina Cup and come on down to Charlotte.
So is anybody here going to the eBay Open?
I don't think so.
No.
We were all talking about going, but I don't know whether anybody's on go. I would still.
That's too far, If it was in driving distance, I might would go. I might not buy a ticket, but I might would go. I mean, 'cause you could hang out in that hotel and meet 90% of the people that you wanted to meet. And hang out. You won't miss as much.
Yeah, that's what a few did last year.
Yeah, about resourcing, networking with people.
As I said, I would go and meet everybody like you guys, but if nobody else is going, I don't think eBay Open has enough to offer me to pay $350 to go, or whatever it is.
Yes, $350 per person.
Yeah, Gary has no interest in going, and I have no interest in going on vacation without Gary. We don't do stuff like that. But I would have went, just so I could meet you guys. But yeah, to go to eBay Open, I don't have any interest. I mean, if it was a couple $100 maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, if I live close by, like I said, I just drive and hang out in the hotel lobby.
For those of us that have been selling for years and years and years, since like eBay's been open almost, eBay Open, I don't think really has. I don't know. It might have more than I know, but I've watched people's videos, and what they take out of it doesn't.
Not
it's
much,
not
really.
stuff that I don't already know, or that I can't figure out.
Most of them saying was hanging out with people they know or seen on videos, and networking with certain people, or they will learn more about at the bar room and the hotel lobby than going to actual shows.
Right. Well, and that's what I say. I'd rather just go somewhere and meet you guys than pay $350 just so I can meet you guys. Yeah.
Right.
And that's something we've been kicking around, is maybe trying to figure a central meeting point, and everybody get their own hotel rooms and just hang out, get to know, meet each other face to face. And
well, I'd done the green room deal one time a couple of years ago. I think in 14 or no 15, and the year before 16, I went up to Chicago for the reseller rally. And that was just more or less. And he told the beginning when they were doing that, the deal, it's more, hey, this is a hangout, BS, I'm going to have, all day deal, but it's nothing like mandatory,
Yeah.
But, it was a big hangout,
But that was,
as I say, I mean, if we had something centrally located or whatever, I mean, it wouldn't cost you anything to do it other than your traveling, your motel, anything that your expenses. We wouldn't go out and say, okay, you got to give us $500 to go.
Okay, I'm like you said. Okay, I'm in South Louisiana. Swag is in New York.
Yep, Long Island.
Kansas. You got North Carolina. So where would you meet centrally located? And if you say you had another 50, 60 other people,
like I said, Kansas is the center of the United States, pretty much. But
yeah, but that's still fun for me.
But what the hell are we going to do in Kansas? Like I told Valerie, you got the biggest ball of twine and where Dorothy's house was.
you got Memphis, which is kind of centrally located,
Yeah.
Well, we were actually thinking Branson.
Right.
Yeah.
Branson would only be maybe 8 hours from me,
Yeah.
Right.
Because we have
for me about maybe 6 hours.
Bridget is up near the
Canada.
Yeah, she's right there. I think she's an hour away from the falls.
Yeah.
I'm only an hour and a half away from Canada. hour and a half.
Yeah, but that's when you get in that paddle boat and row across the lake, isn't it?
No.
And Sally's over in Michigan.
Yep.
So they're way at the top end, and and you're at the bottom. Hank is. Where's Hank at? Is she on the Panhandle?
Yeah, she's in Florida. Yeah, she's in
I
Florida.
don't know if she's in Florida. I don't know where.
I think she's in North Florida.
Yeah, I think she is maybe Panhandle. Maybe.
I don't remember. I don't know whether she's ever said, or I'm just old and I don't remember. And so we were just talking about doing something like that because.
Or a cruise. We were thinking.
Yeah, or cruise.
A thing about a reseller cruise.
And it would, nothing other than just people pay for their own way.
Yeah.
Everything's included.
Yeah.
I would have to go somewhere where it's warm. That is probably about the only criteria that I have.
Well, actually, they try to. That's their primary. Unless you go to Alaska, that's their primary destination. Is someplace warm.
Yep.
Y'all could come up here to Duluth, Minnesota in August. It's warm, and we could go on the Vista cruise around Lake Superior.
Well, we were just talking about earlier today when you weren't around. We were talking about just going up there and camping out in your yard, your field. Right? Everybody with a camper take it up there.
We'll have reseller stock.
There you go.
Oh, you ever listen to Todd Rendon, whatever,
yeah,
Hustler, or he was talking about how his dad or his father-in-law has a farm, or his dad has a farm. He convinced him to have a hangout out from this farm, where everybody's brought tents and did a bonfire and all that kind of stuff, or a rally out there.
We've done that quite a few times. It's fun.
We could do marshmallows outside instead of on the stove.
If I think I did, I had to fly up and find an RV and rent it and drive it on his farm. So that's my tent.
We had this one party at our house and told everybody, bring your tents, campers, whatever, because we got 25 acres. And we bought a bunch of paintball stuff, and we had paintball fights, and we just had a blast. Big fire at night, and everybody brought some food to pass, and we all had a big potluck. It was so much fun. Everybody just kind of did what they wanted to do.
Well, we went to the green room deal. Like I said, one night we went to this giant game room, like arcade, and I hung out there. And all that. And another day we went a place called the Springs. Barton Springs in Austin. It was pretty cool. It's like a river. It's a natural spring. And all that, and different things, And we went to did a garage sale caravan, which was really cool. Like, they had about 20 of us, plus of us, hitting garage sales, freaking all the people out, freaking the people out. Was that?
I saw videos of that where like 20, 25 people get out and all go to the one house, and they're like, oh my God, where did all these people come from?
Right.
Well, see, I want to go up to see Nikki, and I want to go see Bridget, and I want to go, well, they're moving, so that won't happen. I start to see Jim and Tara, because I want to go to some of these auctions they go to.
Oh, I know.
Not to actually buy anything, because I would be flying up there, so I couldn't bring it back. But I just like to see. I like to see Nikki in operation up there. Because
I like to win them.
She's done the videos where she's walking around before the auction and she's seeing these, boxes full of stuff.
So if I ever won the big time Powerball, that's what I do: hire a bus, get a driver, and just do retail arbitrage and sell stuff off of eBay, off a bus.
Well, Valerie with an E said that if we did the camp out, that she was bringing her camper. Yeah, her camper, the one that with all the slides on it, goes out to about 1,500 square feet.
Well, Bridget
Last
would
time,
probably. Go ahead.
last time we had a big party like that, we slaughtered the pig too. Roasted the pig. That was pretty good.
Yeah, they got a certain saying that how to say it in Louisiana. I can't. Touchon delay, whatever.
Oh, I don't know.
That's how you say it. I think in Cajun way, where you roast the whole pig.
Tom, you just want to come up here and get some good deals on my storage sheds.
Yeah, I want to come in there and look at your storage building. I'd have to drive though.
Do the reseller squad. Pick it or ditch it.
I just like, because she's got all this stuff up there that's been sitting there now for a while. Did you do any of the penny stuff?
No,
Yeah.
mine doesn't do penny.
Is it the Dollar General or the Family Dollar?
Dollar General.
Okay. I'm trying to think what I got down the road. I went to a couple of them, and it's like they didn't have nothing on the clearance. Or they wasn't marked. And a couple of times, I had them walked up front and said, "Can you scan this for me?" And it's $3 for like a 2-ounce thing of peanuts. I'm going, no way,
I stopped by one this morning just to pick up some stuff, and then I was going to see if they had anything. And I ended up getting some of those little combination locks. And I needed a couple of them for some boxes. And so I just happened to walk. I've got a couple and walked up to the front with the other stuff that I got.
You got them a penny a piece?
And they were a penny a piece. And I said, he said, there's a penny a piece. And I said, oh, there's like 4 more back there. Do you mind if I go back there and get them? He said, no, go get them. So I went back there and got them, and we were talking. And he said that there's here in Charlotte, because we have there's like 36 Dollar Generals within 30 miles of my house.
Right.
But he said there's over on the north side of Charlotte, there's a group of women that come in, and they will go through a store and pick up all that penny stuff. And I said, "You have a problem with it?" And he's like, "Nah." He said, "It's supposed to be off the floor, but if it's not, then it's our mistake, and too bad."
Did you see that video of Shane where he got about 10 or 12 blocks?
Yeah.
Grabbing them off and all that.
It's but he was like, "Yes, you don't have to be secret about it, because everybody knows, on Tuesday, that's what," he said, "that's our busiest day. Everybody's there looking for that penny stuff."
Yeah.
And I said, "Y'all can't buy it?" He said, "No." He said, "Because it's supposed to be returned."
Yeah. Yeah, the manager of our Dollar General up here must be on the ball, because I never see penny stuff ever. And I mean, I had a woman who used to come into our show used to come into our chat all the time. She doesn't much anymore, but I would give her pointers on eBay, and she would give me pointers on things like that. And I mean, she would literally be holding my hand. She would send me pictures of exactly what I needed to get, and yeah, there was nothing there. I mean, she specifically told me exactly what was on penny, gave me pictures of it and everything, and yeah, I still couldn't find nothing there. So she said some managers are just on the ball, and they get that stuff taken off right away, so you can't find anything.
Right.
And that
this guy, he was a new manager. He just taken over about 2 months ago, because I had gone, because it's near the college that 2 of my boys go to, and a lot of times I just whip it in there and grab things that I need, and it always looked like a bomb went off in there. I mean,
that's what I look like.
There was always pallets of stuff everywhere.
Careful with it.
And
oh, cool.
He had it nice and clean. He was really cleaning it up.
Okay, I don't want to hold it. Give it back to Dad.
Oh man, I just realized I forgot to hit the thrift store today.
Can I tell you a penny? Oh, sorry, go on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got a new thrift store I opened today. My,
Wow.
Well,
not
that's
far from me. I
cool.
was going to do an errand and saw it, and I said, "How long have I been open?" Only less than a week.
I was in my Dollar General, and I kind of know the lady that runs it because I'm in there a lot. Like after I drop my son off at school, and she's telling me I had to pick up like emergency winter gloves because my kid has lost the 300th pair this winter. Anyway, so I'm like, oh, she goes, yeah, no, they're half off if you want to get more of them. I'm like, well, I probably have a whole bunch around the house. I just couldn't put my hands on them at the time. Anyway, I go, yeah. I said, do you know they do these videos on YouTube about these penny items for sale? And she looks at me. She goes, oh, yes, I know. She goes, I have about 9 to 12 people that come in here every Tuesday searching for these penny items, scanning for them and everything else. And then they get mad at me when they bring them up to the register and they ring up at regular price because I can't sell it to them unless it rings up because we're supposed to have all those. It's like inventory recall. We have to have all those items are supposed to be pulled off the shelf and stuff like that. But the way she looked at me, because I had a chuckle because I'm in like northern Wisconsin where there is like I don't think there's anybody that does this kind of stuff. I mean, I'm in a town right now in the winter because the tourists aren't here anymore. I mean, if we have 600 residents in town, we're probably lucky. I mean, there's just nobody here. And just the way she rolled her eyes, she's like, oh, yes, I know. I go, do you know they do like YouTube videos about it? She's like, oh, yes, I know. Anyway, it's kind of funny.
Well, he said most of the stuff is stuff that you can't resell.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you want to ship little bottles of detergent all over the country.
Well, I suppose for them, it's the thrill of the hunt. If you're going to use, for me, like as an example, the Valentine candy or the Pop-Tarts, I wouldn't eat it up fast enough. I honestly, it would be more of a burden for me to bring it home, even if I was only getting it for a penny, because I just know our household. We'll have a bunch of Valentine candy, and 6 months from now, I'll be throwing it away because nobody ate it up,
So that'd be good for like a local garage sale if you're doing like a garage sale and bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, it was like the people when they were doing all the couponing shows on A&E or whichever one it was. These people would have a bedroom with nothing but shelves in it, and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
Honey Boo Boo. Remember Honey Boo Boo, the TV show?
Yeah.
Her whole dining room, I mean, she had like shelves and shelves of like laundry detergent. And kind of part of me is like, that's cool. You got a good deal. I just am not disciplined enough to want to store that much stuff. I don't know. I store too much stuff the way it is. Don't get me wrong. So I'm thinking if I bring in that much more stuff, it's not going to be good.
I was gonna say,
I'm not saying I'm a minimalist. I understand my problems. So I'm saying I'm not going to go start doing extreme couponing and I'm bringing more stuff in that I'm trying to store. So,
but all that food and stuff like that, most of the stuff they had was not good for you. It was
what are you saying? Doesn't everybody eat spaghetti with ketchup in it?
I don't eat spaghetti at all.
Don't you all eat? What did she call it? Sketty or something? You take like spaghetti noodles and butter and ketchup, and I feel like, oh, good Lord.
No.
I feel diarrhea coming on just by hearing that.
Diarrhea.
All the cheese balls they ate.
Yeah, there's somebody posted a picture on one of the Facebook groups about they found like 8 of those big containers of the cheese balls, the cheese poofs.
oh God.
Oh, about size of a gallon. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like
I never,
stuff like that.
yeah, I never bought none of those.
I bought one of those for Jim. It was on clearance at our shop. I'm like, oh, it's deer hunting season. They could take it up to deer hunting camp and eat it. And Jim's like, I don't eat cheese balls. Nobody would touch them, and I fed them to the dogs. Anyway.
I can eat like a handful of those every 2 years.
And it was like that big, like 5-gallon size of them. They come in this huge, like plastic jar. Anyway.
Oh man.
Anybody in any garage sales tomorrow?
Yeah, we don't have garage sales yet up here.
Right.
They're a little everywhere.
Yeah, we got a big call it trash and treasure sale by the Rotary Club. And they basically it's the old Mervin's building. And they take the whole building and put a garage sale in it.
Oh, that sounds cool.
So I'm gonna stand in line.
His new computer.
Get there about 7 o'clock. It opens like 7:30. They'll probably have a couple 100 people waiting in line.
Hi, True.
Hey, Todd, can you hear us? Or he's on mute. So
Oh, Todd's in here now.
yeah, he's been in here.
I figured you'd want to try out his new computer.
I bet that killed him having to spend some money.
You had to buy a new computer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Here, train somewhere.
Probably Nikki.
What?
Yeah, she always got trains in her bit.
Yeah.
Videos.
Oh, yeah, I guess there's a train.
Hanging out at the storage building with the train going by.
Yeah. They're off in the distance here, but you can still hear them.
Yeah, I'm already getting deals about the early bird for eBay Open already.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, isn't that like the end of July?
Yeah.
April eBay rates in April 11th.
Are you going? Are you
I'm
gonna
not going
go for
now.
it?
That's too far for me. All that.
I don't know. I think after I get done with this move, I think I'd rather go to Disney than go to eBay Open.
Yeah.
Oh, she wants to go stand in line for 3 hours in the 100-degree heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's what, July 23rd, so that's 100-degree weather during that time. You know, I don't
Oh,
wanna
we
be there.
always go to Florida in August.
That's misery, man. That'd be like down in Louisiana.
What the heck?
Man.
You live in Louisiana.
Yeah, but it's hotter there. I mean, I talk to people.
Nah, well, actually, it isn't bad. I mean, or if you because Florida, you either got a breeze coming off the Atlantic side or you got a breeze coming off the Gulf side. I mean,
Yeah,
when it's going August, I mean, you're going in and out of those air conditioned buildings. It never really is. I've never really been like, oh God, I'm miserable. It's too hot.
And then at 4 o'clock, it rains for like 15 minutes and stops.
yeah, we get those summer showers here every, like you said.
I went
every day.
to Fort Lauderdale for a week with this girl I used to date years ago before Roberta, and one time we were staying with her cousin, and every day at 4 o'clock, around 4 o'clock, it would rain.
Yep.
15 minutes later, it would stop, and then it was 1,000% humidity and 100 degrees.
Yes, like it. Same thing here.
I lived in Orlando, so whenever we had family come down, they would always come around July and August. And we'd go to Disney, and we had the annual passes. And it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock. It would just start pouring. And our family's like, oh, that's it. Now we're going to go home. I said, no, we're not going to go home. It's going to rain for like 10, 15 minutes and stop. And sure enough, it did, because we lived there for a while. But some of the days were so hot, you could see the steam coming up off the
concrete
ground.
A friend of mine took his kids, and they ranged from 10 to 17 to Disney this past summer. And about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it would start getting really hot. And his kids were like, I'm ready to go back to the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
you don't do that at Disney.
I'm paying $125 a person for each one of you. We're going to stay out here till they close the damn park. And then all we got to do is walk over here to the train and take it right to the hotel. But we're not going back to the hotel.
No, we're the first ones in and the last ones out. We walk out with the security guards are like shuffling you out towards the exit.
Well, they were staying at the Contemporary. And
we stay at Grandma and Grandpa's.
He was like adamant about it. We're not leaving until they close this place. I paid $120 a day for you people to come see this place.
Oh.
So Todd, are you there?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Okay, that's it. I can hear his voice now.
How's the new computer working?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I gotta sort through crap.
You sound.
You got a PC or a laptop or what?
No, it's just a PC.
What happened to your other one?
Like died.
Motherboard or the hard drive?
I don't know.
He's not techie like that.
How old was it?
It's like 3 years old.
Okay, it's not old, very old then.
No.
Did you have anything on the hard drive if you need?
Yeah, I got my whole life on there.
Well, you have to take it down to Best Buy and tell them put it in a housing for you, so you can plug it into your computer and access the files off of it.
Yeah. I'll do something like that, Tom. You can count on it.
Well, if you know how to do it yourself, you can go buy a housing and slap it in it and go. I
Oh,
didn't know how
heck.
computer savvy you are.
I'm about as computer savvy as a nut.
Nah, as a rock. So did Tom ask you how you why you started in eBay?
No, I did not, because I didn't even know he came in here.
Oh, I've seen him here the whole time.
Yeah, he's been here for 30 minutes or close to an hour.
Yes, Todd.
Yes?
Why did you start reselling, and why did you start reselling on eBay?
Oh, okay. You want the long story?
Sure.
That's fine.
Okay.
Not when you
Let's
were
see.
born and all that tough stuff.
Yeah.
Come on, Glenn. Give me a break.
It was
Started in
19
1945.
I was going to say it was 1927, and a young Todd decided he needed to be an entrepreneur.
That's funny right there,
He's
Glenn.
not that old.
Oh, man. You want the whole story?
Sure.
Oh, my God. Well, I'll keep it a little shorter. So, about 8-9 years ago, I decided I was going to be a prepper because I was worried, when the crash happened. And so I was stocked up on food, and then I got into silver because that was a part of prepping for the future in case zombies attacked and everything, right? And so I started buying some silver, and then I got into some silver that you could resell and make a profit. So I was like, well, where do you sell it? And so some of the silver stacking community here on this YouTube's were instructing me, hey, you got to sell that stuff on eBay. So I got on eBay and I sold a few pieces. And I thought, this is pretty cool. And then at the time I was working at Home Depot part-time after retiring from teaching, and it was just killing my feet, my ankles, my knees, my old man ass. And so I thought, well, if you can sell silver, what else can you sell? So I started watching YouTube videos. I watched Golden Finger Picker. I watched, what's his name in Austin?
Is that the
Chris.
green room guy?
The Bonafide hustler.
Bonafide. Yeah, Bonafide.
Bonafide.
Yeah. I watched some, I don't know, just some different guys, and I thought, man, I can do that. So I started stepping it up, and it wasn't long before I was making more on eBay than I was making part-time at Home Depot. Just picking up stuff at garage sales and stuff like that Chad and Bonafide and some of them were saying. And then I got into like Alabama Pickers, and that drew me to Valerie's channel, and
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this history.
You know what's really interesting about that story is I never knew you were a prepper, Todd.
Yeah, really.
well, no, I
That kind of
wasn't
blows
big
my
into
mind.
it.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
know it just
wasn't.
kind of surprises me.
It just, you know, I got some storage food, and I got some silver, and I got some this and that. You know, did some gardening,
Yeah.
and but yeah, it just kind of, I don't know. I'm an evolver, and I've got a little bit of ADD so I jump from stuff to stuff. But eBay, I've kind of stuck with for several years now because I'm like, Dad gum, I'm making pretty dang good money. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, for the last, since I quit working at Home Depot part time, I've made, and that was like, God, almost 4 years ago now. I have doubled the amount of money I made part time at Home Depot, just wearing out my ankles and feet and hips and everything. So
You're not stockpiling liquor too? I thought that's what preppers did. They kept up a good supply of pints.
I think they make it. I think they start, doing their own making of liquor.
nah, we skip liquor and we just grow the hooch.
Oh. It's funny because when you ask everybody how they start on eBay, it is something how everybody evolves it, where it becomes where it's at. From where you start, how much it evolves for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't, when I look back 3-4 years ago, I can't believe the amount of money that I've made and am making selling. And I do not work hard at it. I work at it, but I don't work hard at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Just imagine how much money you'd make if you listed as hard as Tara and Bridget do.
Oh
Well, I haven't been
God.
listing that hard. I've been slacking. Actually, my income's down this year.
I would be a gazillionaire because those folks work really hard at it, and I don't. I really don't.
Todd, you bring up a good point though. And when you're talking about the Home Depot job,
Yeah.
up here, and I was talking to my brother about it. He lives down in Kaukauna, which is near Green Bay in Wisconsin, and he's talking about how these kids don't want to work. He's like, "Oh yeah, these kids, out of high school, they don't want to work. They're talking they're gonna have to raise them wage to get them to work." I'm
Yeah.
like, they're reselling. They're going online. They're buying stuff on clearance. They're sending it to Amazon. And they're doing retail arbitrage, and they're making more money than they're going to make at that minimum wage job.
Yeah.
Right.
And we were in
Dairy
Queen the other day, and this kid's talking to his friends about some
He said, "Oh yeah, Amazon deposited that money into my bank account." He's a high school age kid. Deposited his money into his bank account. It was his disbursement. He's selling on Amazon.
So why the hell would you take a job flipping burgers for $10 an hour when you can sell it? When you can sell stuff online and have plenty of free time to go do whatever the hell you want, and not listen to a jerky, assistant manager telling you what to do. That's what these kids are doing. That's why they can't hire them at these places because they're selling online too.
That Dairy Queen job is probably just making his parents happy.
No, he wasn't working at Dairy Queen.
He's buying his buddy's lunch.
He was
Oh, I'm
sitting in the
sorry.
booth behind us, and he's talking about, oh yeah, he's looking at his smartphone. Oh yeah, and he's looking at his stuff. Oh yeah, they deposited my money. He's talking about his disbursement from Amazon because he's selling on Amazon.
Your sound's
Oh, I
getting weird.
misunderstood.
Oh, is my sound getting weird again?
No.
Oh, they say no.
You know those job evaluations that you go through in the regular workplace, right? And Home Depot always had like, well, how are you enjoying your job, and what what can Home Depot do to make your career a better, more special,
Yeah.
you know? And you're like, well, you know what? Pay us more.
Exactly.
And I
Nothing
said that on every evaluation. You do not pay enough to keep people
workers.
employed here.
Yeah.
It's like I go back into the same Home Depot I left 4 years ago, and there may be out of a workforce of 140 at that store, there may be 10 people left there that I worked with 4
Yeah.
years ago because they've all moved on to something else that did better for them.
Yeah.
And nothing against Home Depot. They're trying to make their bottom line, but they just keep hiring new people and training them. And they work for 5-10 months and then they're gone.
Yep.
So if they pay a little bit more, you know, they'd keep them, you know, wouldn't have to, that turnover rate.
That's the way those businesses are, though. It's cheaper for them to bring in new people and train them than it is to pay more money to people to keep them.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. So McDonald's has had that business model. All of them.
I was manager of a buddy of mine. His son has got 3 of those hot dog carts that you can hook up. You know,
See, it adds a J.
you can hook to the back of your truck or your car and pull it someplace, and then you pull the jacks down on it to make it stable. And he's got 3 of them.
It adds a J on.
He's got 2
like blue.
2 of his buddies. 2 of his buddies run the other 2, and he runs one himself. And he gets a little bit off of the other 2, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he only does it spring, summer, and fall, and on the weekends, because that's when they're doing all these festivals and things like that. One of his boys, he goes and hangs out on a corner. Sounds kind of perverted. He hangs out on a corner of near 3 factories.
Oh, I didn't.
And that that boy will sell $1,500 worth of hot dogs in a day. Because everybody runs out there, and it's like $3.50 for a soda, a canned drink, a hot dog, a couple of hot dogs, and a bag of chips.
Yeah.
And but my friend's son, he was on spring break this week. He's in Austria snow skiing.
Yeah.
Off of the money he's made selling freaking hot dogs.
Yeah.
But I'm
now mind you, after being out in this hot sun during all day long, he's not really into, even as a teenager, he's not really into going out too much that night on the weekends. But he's got all of his other time free.
This is like.
It just amazes me though that today, like I sold $400 worth of crap on eBay.
What kind of crap did you sell?
Oh my God. You want to know?
Just roughly, Todd. You don't have to give me a blood.
Screen share it.
Oh, good God. What did I sell today?
Mm-hmm. You guys, he doesn't want to work this hard.
Gold chain.
Let me screen share. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Can you see this?
like a sugar bowl or something.
I sold a trinket jar. I sold Legos. I got those at Dollar General for $1 a piece. There was like 36 of them, and I sold them for $88. So I doubled on that. A vintage pen, some self-tanning cream, some blue jeans, some more tanning cream, some vintage watch crowns, a salad slicer. This was a good sale. Door closers. I got those at an auction for like $10. I sold 2 of them for $150.
Nice. Oh, there's those boots.
Some Febreze that I got at Dollar General for $1 a piece, and I sold them 2 for $14.
Nice boots.
Yeah, these boots. Got those for $20 at the Lutheran shop.
So you call them alligator and crocodile?
Well, I didn't know which they were. I just guessed. I knew they were genuine, but I couldn't tell whether that was alligator or crocodile. But those sold for $150.
Those are nice.
Oh. You buy them for $20 and sell them for $150. That's pretty good money.
It
They
sure is.
look good.
You did good, Todd.
So it just amazes me what you can do on this old eBay stuff.
Good job, Todd.
That's awesome.
Todd's always good smoking it. And Bridget, Bridget's always shipping, and if she's there, I'm talking about her. So, yeah, you should be in here. I wouldn't talk about you.
No, we're in watching a movie.
She's always got like 27 to ship out every morning.
That's because she lists about 1,000 a day.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a monster. If I worked as hard as she does, I'd be a gazillionaire. But I'm not willing to work that hard.
She does everything, or she mainly does clothes?
Everything.
Everything. You do clothes that much.
You need to watch her YouTube videos.
She
She
sells,
goes to auctions like me and Tara.
she sells a lot more than she rarely does clothes, actually.
Yeah. She sells
She does
stuff
do
like me and Tara
clothes.
do.
It does mostly hard goods. A lot of vintage stuff.
Vintage stuff, parts, tools, anything.
Which really, if you're going to make a consistent income with this, that's what you got to do. You got to just keep throwing everything up there.
We got to do everything.
Oh, you got to buy what's a good
Valerie
deal.
Valerie with an E said that she's going to start shadowing you down in Texas so she can find out where you get all your good stuff.
Well,
Watch out, Todd.
I mean, I just spent $200 at Dollar General this weekend, right? And I've already sold like $100 worth of stuff from there.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed.
That's the way to do it. Well, that's when I go to auctions. Bridget and Tara can also agree. When we go to the auctions, we usually have our money back within a few days.
Yeah.
At least. I mean, unless it's, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, then it takes probably almost a week. But yeah, usually we have our money back within a few days.
Yeah, like Jim said, why would you work part-time for 9, 10, 11, 12 bucks an hour when you can do this and make twice that at least?
At least, yeah.
Look at me. I'm a lazy old fat retired guy. I don't work hard at this. And yet, God, for the last year, I've done at least 5,000 a month sales.
You're doing so good. Gwen can't wait to join you.
Yeah, I spent it all on a computer today because Bridget forced me.
She did.
How much did she make you spend, Todd?
$500.
Oh, you can write it off.
Yeah, it's a write-off.
Why, you should have went to the government auction and found one.
No,
That's how I get all mine.
I don't know enough about computers to decide what's good or
Yeah.
bad, so I just got.
Oh my! And Todd, you bring up another good point because I was in a long ride. I went down to Florida with my brother. We're in the truck for a while talking, and he told me, "Oh no, kids aren't these young people. They're not doing that kind of stuff. They don't know enough about computers." I mean, I just want to spit my drink up through my nose. I'm like, there ain't nothing. These kids. I mean, you think you know something about computers? Those kids, they run circles
Yeah.
around you. But
hand,
I mean,
hand a toddler your tablet or your cell phone and have them teach you how to use it. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, so if you think young people haven't figured out reselling, you're kidding
Yeah.
yourself. And I don't care what they do with the minimum. They can raise the minimum wage till the cows come home. They're still going to have a shortage of workers because the workers figured out they can make more money doing something else. I mean, it's capitalism. If you're a company, you're just going to have to pay people more to lure them in because, I mean, there's too many other opportunities out there now to make money.
Well, I went
Jim, it's gonna be good that we got all these little rich kids out there because they can start paying that 90% income tax.
Well, that's how, but I mean, that's how it works. You got a rising tide raises all ships. John F. Kennedy.
How's your dad?
He's fighting. So he's on dialysis now and stuff. So
Right. Tara was keeping us informed. She said that you had to go down there. Y'all drove to Kentucky, dropped the truck, and then had to go on down there to check on him.
yeah,
Well, he's in our prayers. Y'all are in our prayers, thinking about you, because that's it. You know, I'm lucky my dad is still with us because he's had some close calls. And
yeah. Well, you get to that point in life, every day's a gift. You know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm always glad every morning when I wake up.
Right.
Yeah, you're still on the right side of the
Well,
dirt.
that's okay. One morning you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be on a cloud playing a harp. It'll be all good.
No,
Oh, you're
I
in that
can't,
box.
not me because I can't play. Well, I might better have luck than singing.
Well, if you're not on a cloud and it's real hot, you'll have a lot of friends down there to shake hands with. So
yeah.
at least you'll be in good company.
And Todd, Texas Valerie said you're not fat, Todd. You're losing weight.
That's right.
How's that working out, Todd? Seriously.
I think he put himself
He's
on.
back on mute.
Oh no.
Okay, yeah, I've been on the keto diet. Keto. Oh,
Is that the
Sounds
Green
like a-
Lantern's helper?
do what?
Is that the Green Lantern's sidekick?
Yeah.
You mean the Green Hornet? The Green Hornet.
Or Green Hornet? Yeah, that's it.
I've been on it for almost 2 weeks, then I've lost 6 pounds.
Well, that's what Lonnie's on, ain't it? Broad flips is on that keto.
That's all?
Yeah, I suck.
Oh,
I'm probably not doing it exactly like I'm supposed to.
you don't really want to lose much more than that either, though. For
I can cut
you
out
know.
desserts and drop 10 pounds in a week.
Oh my God.
You know what, Todd? When I get settled back in, you come to me up by me for about a month, and I will trim you down by 20 pounds.
Oh
In a
hell
month.
no.
I guarantee it.
I ain't
Yeah.
up to real work.
Ass off.
I'm not up for real work, Todd.
You will definitely get in shape.
She'll have you
No.
stringing barbed wire fences
Mm-hmm.
and Jim say, "Dear God, please let Todd come up here."
Oh yeah, when I first met Jim, he was all like office boy and stuff, and I'd be like, stacking hay, so he thought he had to help me. I'm like, all right, yeah, it's cool. Then he'd be like all like red faced and huffing and puffing. He'd be like, don't rush me. I'm like, rushing. I'm thinking I'm working normal speed. I'm not even hurrying. And his face would be like cherry red. He'd have this back belt on because he had a bad back. He don't even wear that stuff anymore because he actually went out and did some good farm work.
Hey, if you're gonna take her up on that and come have her teach you how to lose weight, it's good to learn German because then you'll understand the commands.
I thought Jim was just going to tell him to run fast.
Oh no, misery loves company. Come on up.
It won't be
Yeah,
too much
Darren
longer.
was probably like, have your reseller meet up here so y'all can build my fences and stuff while you're all here. Have a
Put your
good old
pole
fashioned
building
barn
up.
raising.
Did I get my pole building up? Oh, Nikki. Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
could go to Nikki's and have a building raising. Be like the Amish,
Yeah.
just raise a barn.
Yeah, that's
Like
what.
I said, good old fashioned barn raising.
Yeah. Yeah, except it's winter there and she's snowed in.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna do nothing up there till May.
No.
You're still staying at Brandy's house, aren't you?
Yeah. Yep.
I've
Yep.
I bet you can't wait to go home.
I can't.
never heard of septic tanks freezing up before.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, it's cold up there.
Yeah.
It happens.
We walk down into all our buildings now, including our house, because the snow is now so high. The hard pack. You walk down from the hard pack into the your garage, into whatever building. Now you have to walk down because the ground is like 2 feet higher than.
Yeah, like the steps on our
Oh
front
my
porch are
God.
like 3 steps high, but now the snow is level with the top step, so it's only 1 step high.
The snow on the ground is. I'm sorry, it's a live show, so I'll say breast high. So when you're walking, it's as high as a grown person's breast. I mean, it's deep.
Well, the other day I was
We
plowing my driveway and I was like, man, Trump would be happy with me. I'm building my wall.
Yeah,
There you go.
I saw the news that in the month of February up here in my area, we got like 62 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, we're almost 70 inches here.
You know what? I really like saying, "How y'all doing?" Come down and see it.
And now I want a little clarification. Usually in the beginning of the year, we put hay down for our septic. And occasionally, some years, our septic may freeze, the outside part, especially if we don't get enough snow, not enough insulation, and it just gets really, really cold. But this year, Gary's had so many problems with asthma, I don't want him out there screwing around in the cold.
You ain't gonna fix
So
it.
that's the only reason. Otherwise, he'd be out there fixing it. But
Well, the problem was early in the year for us here, we didn't have any snow cover. And then we got that week where it was 32, 35 below zero. I mean, that frost has got to be
5 foot deep.
5 foot deep right now.
Yeah.
Wow. So that what happens is if you got like once your septic tank does freeze, the frost in the ground is even if you have somebody steam it, it's just gonna refreeze. Until the frost starts coming out.
Yeah, frost is such a cold generator right now.
Wow,
You should
it
sleep
was.
by your daughters till it warms up.
Well, and the reason why it happened was because, I mean, we had so many days where we weren't home because we were plowing for so many days, night and day.
Yeah, and you're not putting like warm water in it from the shower.
Yeah. So nobody was using the septic because we were gone 24/7 plowing this damn snow that we've been having.
Holy cow, it was 73 degrees this afternoon.
Jim wants to go to Kentucky next week, and I think he said Thursday down there is going to be 66.
Yeah.
Was that it? Or Wednesday or Thursday?
You would not believe how much you have to mentally prepare yourself to come back to below zero when you're in the 60s. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet.
Because you love me and you want to be with me.
Well, that's true, but
I think it was like 95. Roberta and I went to Orlando and to watch a shuttle launch. And it was, it was in February. It was in the 70s. It was really nice. And the day we were packing up to come back to Charlotte, the weather says, there's an Arctic blast coming through Charlotte. It's the high for today is going to be 32.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, can we stay another day?
Get that work
blast out. When is Brandon going on spring break?
The first week of April.
And y'all going to go down to Kentucky?
Yeah, it's the plan. I like to try to put up fence when I'm down there that week.
Well, Jim should be working on that when he gets down there.
It takes him 2 days to unload the truck. So that's 2 days, and then he does some stuff in the house. But like he had to fix that seal, so I had to have my friend down there that lives down there pick him up and give him a ride to town so he could go get parts for that. So
No, the seal I had, I needed the carrier bearing for the drive shaft.
oh,
At least you have somebody down there that can help out a little bit.
Well, we didn't know at first. I was contemplating. I thought I was gonna walk into town, and then I was just gonna, which was about, I don't know. It's a 10-minute drive. I don't know how far it is on foot. Pretty far, I think. But anyway, and I was just gonna go to Walmart and buy a bicycle and ride it home with the part.
oh my God, you die! They drive like crazy down
Yeah,
there.
I know. Well,
I imagine you can't just Uber.
I didn't know what else to do.
I don't know. You should have went and talked to Bobby Cox. He'd given you a ride.
You need to take one of them motorcycles down there.
We
I
talked
thought about
it.
it, but I'm not sure I wouldn't be safer on a bicycle.
They drive crazy down there. No offense to anybody in Kentucky, but yeah. And the roads are so narrow. I mean, they're like half the width of our Wisconsin road. But then there's no shoulder. It goes like road to ditch.
And then even not just in Kentucky, but in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana. I mean, I've seen so much death and mayhem on the highway. It's really an eye opener. I mean, it's making me a little bit scared to get back on a motorcycle. I mean, I've never seen so many cars piled up and ambulances, and it's bad. I mean, I don't know what the toll is going to be this year. But I mean, from what I see, they can't haul them off the highway fast enough. People are driving crazy.
Somewhere up, I think it was Detroit. They had a family all die in a house fire because they had their central heat or fuel or whatever going, and then they had like a camping heater.
Yeah.
And it caught on fire and burnt the house down and killed us like a family of 5. And
that don't kill them.
It's been so cold up there that people are just having to. Their normal heating is not keeping up. They need to supplement it. Poor people. Every night I go to bed and I say, "Dear Lord, don't let my friends up north freeze to death."
We were eating at McDonald's a couple mornings ago, and I was overhearing some of the old timers talking, the coffee drinkers, and they're talking about these. It's just people's furnaces are burning up. They're just running and running and running, and these older furnaces are just giving out, and the furnace contractors can't keep up.
Yeah. Yeah, the furnaces. When we had that big polar vortex, the vortex were not shutting off at all. The furnaces just kept running and running and running.
Yeah, and I guess they're burning out.
My dad has a buddy that has a heating and air conditioning company that his sons are running now, and they have done so much work in the northern part of the state because it's been so cold, and like you said, the units are kicking out, and the people up there just can't keep up. So my dad said Bill rented a house up there, a furnished house up in Salem, and he's got like 3 crews up there. They come up there during the week, and they leave on Friday and come back to Charlotte.
Yeah, this year is a good year to be a furnace repairman and a snowplower.
Oh my God!
We don't have much use for snowplowers down here. It's I don't know. I guess if I grew up there, it'd be different.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Well,
as you get older, don't worry. You realize. When I was young, I used to say it don't matter. I can just put more clothes on. But as I get older, the less I want to deal with it.
Yeah, as I get older too. But I won't go anywhere without my dad. So if my dad don't want to go, I ain't going nowhere.
See, I don't have anybody up here anymore.
People everywhere has their own problems. I mean, like you guys have your hurricanes and Valerie has her tornadoes and Glenn has his alligators and
We
hurricanes.
got hurricanes.
Also goes on down there in Louisiana. We have cold weather. That's all we have up here. I mean, in some areas up here, there's tornadoes, but where I live, there isn't. So, and I know some people don't like it when I say this, but even though I have cold weather, my house is still going to be there tomorrow. My pipes might be froze, but my house will be there. And I don't have things scurrying around in my grass that are going to eat me. So.
Get you some gator tail. That's good eating. Well, you know, we're far enough away from the coast that unless a freak situation happens like Hugo, we only catch the edge of the hurricanes.
Yeah.
Now, when Hugo hit Charleston and just made a straight line to Charlotte.
That was in '89, wasn't it?
And I've told the story before. Some friends of mine were living in St. Thomas at the time, and you know, Hugo came through St. Thomas like a bulldozer. When they discovered that decided that it was definitely going to hit St. Thomas, they put their kids on a plane and flew them to Charlotte, where my friend's parents live, in-laws live. Well, they had the power back on and the water back on in their house in like 2 days in St. Thomas. They were without power and water up here in Charlotte for 3 weeks.
Oh,
wow.
And they couldn't get their kids back into St. Thomas because, you know, they were still trying to get everything straightened up down there. So they weren't allowing people coming back in unless they were, you know, some kind of, carpenter, plumber, electrician, that type of thing.
Now, things like that have happened up here with ice. You know, we've had ice storms where people have been, you know, probably a week without power or whatever, but that doesn't happen very often either, you know.
Oh, we're gonna have earthquakes, which will be new. They're real common. I mean, like the people are like, "Oh yeah, they happen all the time. It's no big deal," because I guess it's the mountains.
Yeah.
And I guess it's still moving or whatever. And yeah, they're like, we get whatever earthquakes. They're pretty common. So I looked it up on the internet. I'm like, holy man, yeah, they do get a lot of earthquakes there. That'll be kind of neat. I never had an earthquake before.
Sam, do you have a fault around there nearby?
A fault? I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
it's the Appalachian Mountains.
yeah.
I guess there's a fault in Minnesota somewhere, somebody said, like in Lake Superior or something.
They got those sinkholes because now Louisville, Kentucky, and the zoo, they got a sinkhole opening up in the zoo or something.
Wow.
I saw that on the news.
Hey, Steve, and let me tell you what, you cannot use that kind of language up here on my channel. We're not talking about timber rattlers, and we're not talking about copperheads, because we don't talk about snakes on my channel.
Who's talking about snakes?
Stingray Steve, he says
no, Bobby.
Copperhead
No, Steve. I asked Bobby Cox, do we have any poisonous snakes, and he told me no. So
not that he's ever seen.
Not that he's
but
ever
he did
seen.
live there his whole life. He's 33 years old.
Yeah,
and they have copperheads in Wisconsin, I know, but more south than me.
Southwest. We have rattlesnakes in Wisconsin, but they're down there in the southwest part of the state, down towards the Dells.
Yeah.
Water moccasins.
Down here.
Then you look at a map and you see how Lake Superior is shaped like a wolf's head, and you look about where the nose would be. That's where I live. I live way up north. I'm too cold for any of that stuff up here.
Well, baby, that's the only reason I would live up north is because it's too damn cold for snakes. Because
I'm scared to death of snakes.
We have snakes, but we don't have anything poisonous up here.
I'm scared to death of any snake. I always have been. I will down there if we see a snake, I'm just going to shoot it. There's going to be a scorched earth policy on snakes. I'm sorry if you love snakes, but
yeah, I don't like the way the front end of the snake looks with that bloody neck and hole and whatever. You know, like come up on it after you shoot it. It's very frightening to me.
Yeah, we don't have any snakes here in Texas. They're
no, none at all.
Down
Good night, guys. They're going to take off.
All right.
Bye, Glenn.
Glenn.
Good night.
Thanks
Bye,
for coming.
Glenn.
Thanks for coming in.
Good to see you, Glenn.
No, the snakes are good in Texas because they keep the scorpion population down.
Yeah.
Down in Charleston is a college called Baptist Southern or something like that. It used to be called the Baptist College. College. And my dad helped. My dad was a project superintendent when they were building it. And the bulldozer operators would ride around with shotguns because the snakes were so bad down there that they would actually crawl up on the bulldozers while they were moving. And then after they got the university open, the guys that were doing lawn maintenance, they would ride around with shotguns on their lawn tractors because the snakes were so bad.
Oh my
And none of the doors would stay open. Like going into the dorms and the buildings, they would close, automatically. And that would have been when everything was spring loaded, that type of thing.
I'm a Tara. I'm definitely afraid of snakes.
They just
grass snakes and I just don't like them. I mean, even us, we baled hay here, and you'd bail up those garter snakes or grass snakes in them. And they'd be half alive. I just don't like it at all.
Down in Texas, they have those tarantula hawks. Those are no joke either. Don't let Todd fool you. Those things are scary. You look those up on YouTube sometime.
No, we're not. We're not looking up snakes.
No,
it's not a snake.
Did you say tarantulas?
No, a tarantula hawk. Is it a bird? We got those vultures in Kentucky.
No, it's like a wasp that takes down tarantulas.
Oh.
Okay. Well, that's another reason we won't be.
It's just a little tiny itty bitty thing that takes down big old tarantulas. Look it up on YouTube. It's no joke.
Yeah, because everything on YouTube is true.
No, the guy that we bought our truck from was telling us about him.
That's Facebook, Tom.
Oh, that's right. Because everything on the internet, on the interweb, is true.
Well, the guy that we bought the truck from told us about it.
I'm gonna go to one of those snake churches down there in Appalachia, and then I'm gonna be not scared of snakes anymore.
Hey, Nikki, the worst kind of snake you can run into is those hoop snakes.
Did you?
Because once some things come rolling after you, it's hard to get away.
Cow snake is bad too. They'll come and drink the milk right out of the cow's udder.
I'm gonna tell you what. Now you start messing with them rattle-headed copper moccasins. You're asking for trouble now.
Oh man, I was driving to my friend's house down there this fall after we bought that
big
house,
old snakes.
and there was a snake on the road crossing the road, and that thing I don't know what kind of snake it was, but it was 3 foot long and thick around too.
It's not warm at all. Did you just kick me offline or something?
Oh, you're still here.
Still alive.
Still hear you.
What did you do?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I needed some love.
Is that the kitty that's always stealing things? No, you're
Roxy.
still alive. Aren't you?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. My cat stepped on my keyboard and turned my sound off.
Is that the one that Nikki wanted to know if that's the one that steals things? Brings you bags?
Yes, during the night I'll wake up or in the morning I'll wake up and she's brought me some empty Ziploc bags and brought me a bag full of jewelry one morning. And
Oh.
she's my baby.
She's your little
girl.
helper.
She's my baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you?
She's cute.
She's spoiled rotten. I can sit in my recliner and she'll get up on the end table and pat me on my arm, wanting me to get out of the chair so she can get in it. And then I cover up with a blanket. Roberta says, "You gotta quit doing that." I said, "You're just jealous because if you say I would like to have the recliner, I say no."
You would not.
Tomorrow we have doctor appointments with her all day long tomorrow.
Oh boy. Fun.
Yeah. So it's just been a week. Doctor's appointments, car appointments.
And you still had your show, so you're doing good, Todd.
I guess, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
The Jim,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to take my Chevy in to have it repaired because the engine light came on and it said that the gas cap was loose. So we put a new $90 gas cap on it.
The hell kind of truck have you got?
That's what I said. Why don't you go on eBay?
I got a
Why don't you
regular
go on
old
eBay and find
Chevrolet.
one?
Anyway, it ended up costing me $800 and some the first time because on top of the gas tank is some kind of little valve, and if it's not working properly, it causes your emissions light to come on, your engine light to come on.
Yeah.
And we've got to get it inspected. And if the engine light's on, it automatically fails inspection.
Yeah, you need to move somewhere where they don't have those inspections.
You know what? If I move 15 miles south into South Carolina, I could have a car with.
I hope you're not in an HOA, Tom.
The smoked like a dead fumigator, no headlights on it, or the headlights don't work, and it wouldn't matter because they don't do any kind of inspection down there at all.
Well, that's the way it should be. I mean, if you don't have headlights, you can't see. You go get it fixed. You don't need laws to do that. I mean, it's just common sense. Anyway,
His first problem is he went to the damn dealership. That costs quadruple already. Just walk in the door.
Well, I took it to a couple of other shops first just to talk to them about it. And they're like, "Oh, that's a known problem with the Saturn, and with a Chevrolet in general."
Oh my God.
And so they said you need to take it to the dealership.
Oh. Huh.
So I did, and guess what? It's working just fine. Yes, I'm out $1,000, but
well,
I've only got 93,000 miles on it. I'll get another 100,000 miles out of it.
I don't know what to say, Tom, because that's over my cap for what I've spent on the car when it's new to me.
Yeah.
I have like a $900 limit.
Yeah.
Well, I put $1,000 worth of tires on it too.
We did have vehicle inspections when I lived down by Milwaukee. You know, the counties that surround Milwaukee County, they make you do emissions tests. But
Right.
up here where we live now, there is no vehicle inspection.
Yeah, you live free or die.
You should move to New Hampshire.
Yeah, we don't have no homeowners associations or vehicle inspections or wheel taxes or stadium tax or any other such nonsense.
Oh man, yeah, he's gonna do good. He'll fit in Kentucky because they got like he'll ask him like, oh yeah, you got to do this, and then guy will be like, you don't understand. You live in an agricultural area. You don't need no permits. You do what you want. And we're like, good.
Yeah.
We finally met our people.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. We don't need permits up here. You just don't get caught.
I'm not kidding. When we were looking at property, which it isn't like that anymore, apparently like within the last 5 to 10 years, you didn't need a septic permit down there.
If you own more than 10 acres.
If you own more than 10 acres, you could just let your septic roll on down the hill, they called it. Like a pipe
Oh my
would just
God.
go, it would go down the hill. Anyway.
Yeah, I've been thinking more about moving to a little bit more land.
Well, there is a downside to that, though, because everybody's on city water.
Yeah, true that.
I'm assuming because the wells aren't real good, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. And we talk about like they drive like speed demons on these roads, and they are windy and narrow. And I don't drive like old lady or something, but these roads are narrow. But you get them in a Walmart, and they walk as slow as can be. I mean, like looking around, barely moving, you know. But in a car, it's like speed racing.
Yeah, they run you down. I mean, they're like driving like crazy. And then as soon as they get out of the car and walk into the store, now they're like, I mean, it's almost like they're moving backwards. It's like, good
They're
God.
glacial.
Yeah. oh, pardon me, am I in your way? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, pardon me. It's like the third time they say they're sorry. It's like, yeah, quit apologizing. Just get the hell out of my way.
What was
I
the
will say they're
That's
very
Yankee
polite.
sassy.
Well, they're very polite, but sometimes you got to move. I got some work to do.
the little? Well, he wasn't little. He was tall, but he was the fat comedian. I can't remember what his name is. He died. He was always talking about the buffets.
Oh,
Don-
not the
Don Jovi?
Armstrong guy, was it? No.
No,
Was
The
it
guy that was on Family Feud?
no, was
Oh.
it Louis?
Louis?
Louis Anderson. yeah.
Anderson, I call
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
And he does this thing where he was tell people get up to the line at the McDonald's and they're trying to figure out what they want. He's like, get out the line.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I
know.
feel like telling some top people when I get to like the grocery store.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how y'all shop, but when I have a grocery list, I know where everything's in the grocery store, and I am in and out.
Yeah, I want to hit it and quit
Oh
it.
man, Todd. I mean, Todd, you should have been with me last night. Okay, we had to go to Hobby Lobby. I thought Jim's
God.
head was going to explode in there. I mean, he's like, let's get the F out of here because it's too expensive, he feels. We had to get these supplies for this school project.
It is too
I
expensive.
mean, if you just saw his
It's
face.
ridiculous.
When I say I should have taken a picture of him. He gets this like wild chipmunk raccoon look on his face. I don't know how he does it. He makes his eyes like totally round, like real round, and he just looks crazy. Anyway.
I agree, Jim.
I chewed the manager out one day, which I know him. And I was like, what the hell have you done? He's like, what? I said, this is where the jelly and the peanut butter are supposed to be. Why is there ketchup, mustard, and other condiments? He's like, it's over. The bread's over on aisle 7 now. And I'm like, no, here is the milk. Here is dairy. Bread is supposed to be across the aisle from milk and bread, from the dairy. And he said, well, we had to move stuff around. And I said, well, I knew where everything was in the store. And I like coming in and getting my stuff and getting out. I don't go up and down every aisle. And he's like, well, that's why we move it around to slow you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
My Walmart grocery did that. They like switched everything around. I'm like, wait, pizzas are supposed to be here and it's breakfast food. Why? And now I gotta like search for stuff.
Our whole Walmart did that. Switched the whole freaking store around. I know nowhere. I mean, I knew where everything was at Walmart. I could have been put on the payroll. I knew it so well. And then they moved everything around and I'm just lost in there. And now our grocery store has moved everything around. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are killing me here. It just doubles my time at the grocery store. I know that's why they do it, but oh my God, it's terrible. And I'm not buying anymore because they did it. They're just pissing me off. I'm going to end up going just to Aldi's because Aldi's is small. And even if they moved everything around, it'd still be quick.
I don't like all these. That's me.
Well, I like Aldi's.
I get
I don't
confused
like
when I go in there. Everything's supposed to be on aisles. Bread's supposed to be on this aisle. We're not supposed to have bread, peanut butter, and mustard all on the same aisle.
Yeah.
Good night, Liz.
Yeah.
When I hate going grocery shopping with Roberta because she wants to go up and down every aisle.
Mm-hmm.
And baby, why are we going down the baby section? Well, I just want to see what new stuff there is.
Why?
We're not having any babies.
The baby department's closed. Get out of here.
Right. And it used to be before they moved it, like the wine over into a little section by itself with the coolers for the beer. It used to be in, an inline aisle. And she'd like to go down there because she said, I just like to look and see what the bottle labels look like. Okay. The clock is ticking here. I don't want to stay. If I spend more than 20 minutes in a damn grocery store, I've been here too long.
Yeah, I agree. I hate the grocery. The only time I like to shop is when I'm at the auctions.
Now, if I go to Costco, that's different. I'll walk up and down the aisles because I'll never, I might see something that I want or I need or I want.
I've never been in a Costco. They don't
I
even
know.
have them up here. Is it like a Sam's Club?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to a Costco for deliveries, but I've never.
Yeah, I've never. We don't have them up here.
But we don't either.
Yeah, you can get a large fountain drink and a hot dog for $1.50 down here.
Do you need a membership to be in Costco?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's just like Sam's Club.
And you live in other
I-
countries.
We have
Like caskets.
And
we
you
have
live
one of the executive memberships or something like that.
secondary.
And we'll go one time and save enough money to more than pay for it.
I remember that was big news when Costco started selling caskets.
It's they have some really good steel, and Costco's they have some really good in their delis, really good stuff in their delis.
Oh yeah.
They got some chicken soup that'll make you kiss your grandma.
There's a Big Lots in our town. Jim's like, "Oh, let's go to Big Lots. It's great." And I went in there. I'm like, "This ain't great." And I went to them in Milwaukee. I didn't think they were that great, but he insisted. He's like, "Oh no, Big Lots sucks now. What happened?"
Mm-hmm.
Well,
My dad has a Sam's Club membership. He loves Sam's Club. And it's like, Dad, why do you have a Sam's Club membership? You're never going to buy enough to make up for that Sam's Club membership by yourself.
Yeah.
But he likes to go there because he likes to buy his big thing of plates and forks. So when we come over to the house, we got plenty of styrofoam plates and forks. And
I had a Sam's Club membership, and I never went and used it because my closest Sam's Club is 150 miles away. It's down in Wausau, Wisconsin, and I just never got down there to use it. And I have a super Walmart in Rhinelander, so what the hell am I going to drive 150 miles to go stock up on a bale of paper towels or whatever? I'm not going to buy a Gaylord of toilet paper to bring it home.
we used to have a Sam's Club membership, and it just seemed like every time we went there, we'd spend double the money that we would at our grocery budget, and the food would only last about half the time because we'd be buying all the Hot Pockets and all the, just big cans of pudding and, like, yeah, so we just finally got rid of it because my brother one time, he was so funny. He went with us as a guest, him and his wife, and there was like this big sale on tampons, and he's like, "Hey, Linda, get over here. There's a big sale. This is a good price, ain't it? What size are you? Are they one size fits all?"
Oh my God.
Hey, Nikki, I know you're a big Walking Dead fan.
Yep.
Do you remember the episode where Carl is sitting up on the roof of a house eating out of a big can of chocolate pudding?
Yep.
Well, he ended up eating 3 of those big cans of chocolate pudding before they ever got the shot right.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah,
I think I saw something about that.
Pudding. What major city are y'all going to be living near in Kentucky?
I'm in Taylor County. I'm right in the middle. I'm like an hour south of Louisville, an hour south of Lexington. I'm right in the middle of the state.
Okay, there's Lexington. Well, they have a Costco in Lexington.
Yeah, I think that's about an hour and 10 minutes south of there.
Okay.
That's not worth it.
Well, you can go in there and you can buy you a truckload of toilet paper, and they have good toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm not buying like a Gaylord of toilet paper. I mean, I'll buy like the 36 roll size, but I'm not going to manage taking care of that much toilet paper in one time.
You're going to have all those buildings and rooms down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna drop out.
Okay, see you, Valerie.
All right.
See you guys later.
All right, bye, Valerie.
Bye-bye.
Are you down like towards Taylorsville?
No, I'm in Campbellsville. Right in the middle of the state.
You're out in the middle of damn nowhere.
I'm in the middle of
Oh, I
nowhere.
see Campbell. I see it. I see it. I see it.
Actually, it's not bad size. It's agricultural around there, but actually, it's a pretty good sized city there.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, where I live, yeah, it's quite a bit bigger than where I live now.
How's the auction circuit down there? Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, when you go look at auction zip down there, I mean, I have to sort it by like 30 or 50 miles because otherwise there's too many on the page for me to look through.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like when I'm down there, I mean, well, I don't know about right now in the middle of winter. I haven't been down there since Christmas, but I mean, every road you'll have like auction Saturday, auction
Awesome.
Friday. You know, they're everywhere. There's an auction house in that town.
Nice.
So you're not that close. I mean, you could go down towards Tennessee or you could go north.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I have a friend down there that goes to auctions too, and she says, I mean, for price rise, she says it's a lot like with the ones up there, up where, you know, because she went to auctions up here with me. Because actually, it's price rise. It's similar to how it is back in Wisconsin.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, and you'll get a lot of old salt down there too, probably. Good farm stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
You should be able to
I
find
live
some good vintage farming stuff.
where I live is all farmland. I'm surrounded by
Yeah.
cattle farms. I mean, at night,
Yeah.
if you stand on my porch, I mean, all you hear is cows mooing. It's all cow farms around me.
That's awesome. So you're gonna find a lot of good vintage stuff down there, digging in them barns and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff down there, I bet.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm not.
Chris.
I mean, I figure I'll adjust to it. I'll figure her out. If I can make a living buying at auctions where I'm at now, which I have to drive usually
Yeah.
at least an hour to an hour and a half south away from my
Yeah.
house to find auctions, I think I'll figure her out there too. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, you're more civil in the civilized area over there. Now, don't forget, you got to get Jim a Colonel Sanders suit before he goes to the damn auction.
Oh yeah, I'm really gonna walk around with Jim wearing a white suit and a hat and a cane or something. And
I
he'll
say,
start
old
like doing
girl.
like I say.
That's not Colonel Sanders. That's what's his face.
Oh,
The
that's
chicken.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah.
I say.
That's the rooster.
Oh Lord.
We did get invited. They did tape us a thing to our mailbox down there. They invited us. The Baptist Church invited us to the pizza party.
There you go. That's nice.
Yeah.
You can head on down there to Georgia for The Walking Dead and get me Norman Reedus's autograph.
Atlanta, from where I live to Atlanta I think it's 4.5 hours, or is it 5?
Oh,
yeah, but it isn't really that far, really.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's like going to southern Wisconsin.
You can go down there while they're taping sometime.
I bet you once Jim finally gets his family to Kentucky, I bet he will kind of like back off on the long hauls for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Well, we'll see. Yeah, I mean that's the threat is they're talking about coming closer up by us, but he's like, well, you know who's going to move them north? I go, I know. Anyway,
His parents are thinking about moving up closer to where y'all going to be living.
well, his sister's really talking about it, and yeah, where his sister goes, I mean, they'll go.
Yeah,
they'll have to. And she's really helping take care of them and stuff.
Oh.
But they still
you
won't
got
live
enough
real
friends,
close because they won't want to live out in the country, probably.
There's a house for sale. It's about 10 minutes from me, and I think she kind of liked it. Jim went and took a video of it for her, and it's right around. It's all cow farms all around the house. Then she goes, "Oh, Mom would love all those cows around and stuff." So, but they've been looking at some city stuff. They don't want to take care of like a big lawn and stuff like that. I don't think.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Are they ready to move like right now? Hard to say. I mean, I don't think they got 2 pieces of property in Florida and stuff. I mean, I know how this stuff goes. So
yeah.
Well, if AOC has her way, or OAC, whatever her name is. She's gonna be getting rid of them cow farts, so you won't have to worry about that.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But
Who?
I don't want to get political on your show. Anyway.
AOC.
Yeah, with the cow thing, you know,
Yeah,
like she says what she wants to go after is what she thinks is like factory farming. But what are you going to do? You're going to put these dairy farmers out of business. You're going to put these beef producers out of business. I mean, you know, you want to cut down on air travel. Well, I can tell you that TSA worker that you were saying during the government shutdown didn't have any work and couldn't pay his bills. But when you cut down on air travel, that TSA worker ain't going to have any work then either. But, rant's over.
She's wanting to get rid of air travel.
Uh-huh.
So that's going to shut down a lot of people. But
All
even
right, guys, I'm going to bed.
Yeah,
yeah, you got to be up in time to work that show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Even Nancy's rolling her eyes at her, so she's.
Good night, Todd.
Good night, Todd.
I shouldn't have said anything because that's from she's over in Deb's. That's Deb's hometown area over there.
Who?
AOC.
Who the heck is AOC?
The young congresswoman from New York.
Alexandria.
Cortez?
Or Sega? No. Ocasio. Ocasio-Cortez. She's like from Brooklyn, I think.
Well, I thought that whole area was from where she was at down there.
No, Brooklyn is. I'm in Levittown. Brooklyn's.
No, I'm talking about her congressional area.
No, I think it's mostly just that Brooklyn district.
Oh, is it?
I don't know how they're broke up there, but I thought it was maybe part of Harlem, or I thought it was mostly Brooklyn as her district.
Poor Nancy. I feel sorry for her. Because she's got all these youngins. She's got all these youngins that thinks they know everything coming in and just rattling her cage. It's sad. I was watching this thing on YouTube, and it was a British news thing. And they were talking this girl who is, what is it? What do they call it? Liquid. She doesn't identify as a male or female, whatever they call that.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what that is.
There's a phrase
Gender
they use
X
for
or something, ain't it?
It's what?
Isn't it like gender X or something?
I don't remember what they call it. But she wants to be referred to as they.
They?
Not he or she, but they. And they had some writers on the show, and they said no, they is more than one person.
Yeah.
So unless you're a schizo, you're not more than one person.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Huh.
So anyhow, it's after 11 o'clock.
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry to keep y'all so long.
That's okay.
It's only 10 o'clock here.
But
it's early for Nikki.
Tara's had Jim on the road.
Now Jim came home Monday night. He's been home for a few days now.
Well, I figured that he was back because I hadn't seen you, so I figured y'all were getting rid of the kid and y'all were spending some quality time.
Oh boy.
Tom always likes everyone to spend quality time.
Yeah, Tom's worried about quality time.
Because listen, I know how it is to have small kids, even one kid. And there's just time that you just need, you get rid of the kid for a few hours. It's like, okay, let's get this stuff done now.
Oh boy.
Like when our kids would go spend the weekend with my parents or my in-laws, people would say, "Oh, you're home alone with just you and Roberta." And I'm like, "Yeah, we get to sleep all night.
Yeah.
We're going to go out to eat, go home, get in bed, and go to sleep and sleep 10
Yeah.
hours without waking up.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, Jim, I'm glad you made it back without too many incidents.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
miss you, Jim.
These guys' headphones on. They're saying how much they miss you, for Christ's sake.
Oh, I'll fix my ABS sensor on the truck.
Okay.
Did you tell Jim that you won one of the challenges?
I think he saw it because when Valerie put it in our PayPal account.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
He's probably like, yeah, I get a meal at Long John Silver's now.
He had to take my friend out to eat at Long John Silver's because she gave him a ride.
Oh.
But it isn't in the American flag, but they're called flag.
His girlfriend at the chicken places will get jealous, isn't he?
I don't know. Well, they went to Long John Silver's during the day, so there was a different crew in there because his girlfriend's usually at night.
Oh, Long John Silver's not the chicken.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, he didn't. The Lee's chicken in town gets really bad Yelp reviews, and they're so bad where we'd be too scared to go eat there. Because Jim's like, oh, look, they got a chicken buffet. And then I looked up the Yelp reviews. He's like, no, I don't think I want to eat there. And they're really bad Yelp reviews. I mean, really bad.
In regards to the woman that wants to be referred to as they,
Changed it to
Mike says she identifies as a doorknob. And Frankie Fine says, I wonder where they, quote unquote, shop for the clothes, the women's department or the men's department. And then she goes on, and if they menstruate, doesn't that mean it solved the mystery?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't care if you're a woman that wants to dress like a man or vice versa. I mean, it don't really bother me none,
Don't bother me either.
Just live your life, and be happy. And if you ain't bothering me, I don't really care what you do. I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's a little bit like the bathroom thing. I don't want to get on a tangent, but I always figure is somebody that's like dresses transgender, usually they're so woman-like. If they walk in the stall and just go to the bathroom, I wouldn't even know I'm in the bathroom with a man. Tell you the truth,
And who cares? We're behind closed doors in a woman's bathroom. Who gives a shit?
It's just,
I don't think you really had to make I think when you made the law about it, you made it worse, or you might have like some weirdo go in there like, wow, I'm just gonna throw a dress on today and go in the woman's bathroom. I think if you just sort of left it alone, I don't know if that would have happened as much. You know what I mean?
Well, look at that time I went on that little thrifting trip, and I was going to the bathroom, and I ran in there so quick. I really, after I heard the man next to me taking a healthy crap, I wasn't sure. Oh man, did I go in the men's bathroom? Well, I mean, we went to the bathroom in the same room. I didn't care he was in there, but I was like, oh shit. So I ran out of the bathroom and I didn't even wash my hands. And I went and looked and I was like, oh, it's the woman's bathroom. Whew. I went back in there and washed my hands. I was like, I'm in the right spot. So he's the one in the wrong spot. But he's
I don't know how many times I've gone into a bathroom and then back out the door to make sure I went into the right door.
I went into one of these plantation places in Georgia. They sell like pecans and stuff. It's like a tourist trap kind of. It's a giant pole barn they make to look like a whole plantation house.
Yeah.
Anyway, you go in there. Well, the bathroom. I walk into the bathroom and then I walk back out. I look and I see a guy's shape on the door. Then I walk back in the bathroom. I never seen it before. It was all stalls. Because usually men's bathrooms, there'll be 3 or 4 stalls, and there'll be a bunch of urinals. This thing was all stalls. You had to go in a stall to the bathroom.
When'd you do this?
With Sean, when we were coming up back.
Oh man, you went to some kind of pecan plantation. You never take me into that kind of stuff.
I didn't buy nothing. It was all too expensive. But anyway, I mean that was weird. Because sometimes, I don't know, when I see stall doors, I'm like, wrong. I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He won't even stop.
If I would have been in a men's bathroom, I would have known it right away when I saw the urinals.
I'm lucky if I go to the bathroom at a gas station, he's wandering around pecan tourist stop plantation.
I don't want to get gas there or diesel.
Oh boy.
Oh Lord, you're gonna have to have
I mean,
a
when
talk.
we're in Orlando, I gotta beg him to go to the Big Orange. You know that thing I'm talking about? That Big Orange, it's like a tourist thing. I gotta like beg him to go to the Big Orange, and he gripes about it every time. But I'm like, you know what? I'm down here. I'm gonna go to that Big Orange.
You're busted there, Jim.
And here he's going around to these tourist pecan farms.
He's going
I
back.
bet he bought him. Bet he bought him one of those pecan logs too.
He said they were too expensive.
You know, get your sugar up.
You know, with all this transgender, gays, lesbians, all that stuff, you know, I have many friends who are gay and lesbian. I watch Rosie; she's transgender. You know what? Nobody gave me the power to judge these people. No. There's only one person that can judge these people, and it's not me.
Well,
and
honestly,
they will have their time with God, and I'm not saying that it's not okay with God or it is right with God, but they will have their time with God to figure it out. Who knows? Maybe we're in the wrong. I don't know. You know, like I said, nobody ever gave me the thing. If people are just people.
Well, go ahead.
I hate that they always make such a big deal out of it, but just be people. I like you because you're a person, and if you're a nice person, then I'm going to like you even more, you know? And that's the way it should be. Just leave everybody alone. Let them do their thing. They're not hurting me any. And the only difference between me and a gay person or whatever is what they do in the bedroom. Nobody cares what I do in the bedroom. Why do I care what they do in the bedroom? You know?
You don't have what you do in the bedroom in everybody's face.
No.
And that's the biggest thing right there. It's all in their face.
Yeah, it should be your thing. But like somebody like Rosie, honestly, I would, if she was in the woman's room, it wouldn't bother me at all, because honestly, it's probably more comfortable and safer for her in the woman's room than it would be to go in the men's room and go use the men's bathroom.
Exactly. And in the women's bathroom, we're all behind doors.
Oh,
so Rosie, do I care? As long as he's not peeking above or below, I don't care.
Yeah.
You're talking about Rosie from the drama show.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Rosie from the TV show.
Oh, like Rosie O'Donnell, no.
Like, what the hell is she talking about? And then it dawned on me.
Dorito bikini lady.
This is going to come as a shock, Tom, but seriously, Rosie O'Donnell is a woman. I'm not kidding you. She's an actual woman.
She's just lesbian. She's not transgender.
Well, you know, somewhere up in Philadelphia, up in that area somewhere, this lesbian was kicked off of she was kicked off of the gay, lesbian, transgender mayor's committee.
Oh, really?
Because she doesn't consider transgender to be real, because their whole issue was not the fact that they're male or female. It's the fact that they think they're the other one. Whereas a lesbian is happy being a woman who sleeps with other women, and you know, gays are. But anyway, she got kicked off because she voiced her opinion about it. And
I saw they added a new letter, because I'm like, well, what does that stand for, Jim? But I can't remember what the letter was.
The G.
No, it's at the end. It's LBGT, and now there's a new letter at the end.
Oh. I don't know. Oh, you know what I worry about? Like paying the utility bill when that furnace is running and running and running. And the person next to me, sitting in the stall, is actually a woman pretending to be a man, stinking up the bathroom with me. I could care less.
Exactly. I don't care.
I like to prioritize.
I'm with you on that too, Jim. You know, it's just like everybody tend to their own business, and don't make me have to pay for any of it.
There you go.
And
Q, yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Q.
Otherwise, I really don't care, because I know gays, I know lesbians.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that are wonderful people that, you know, that are that way, and that's their business, and and we're good friends, and we can chit chat just like me, you, and everybody else, and they don't bring up what they do in the bedroom. I don't bring up what I do in the bedroom, and we all get along just fine.
Because I mean, if we're sitting here in a group, do you really want to know what me and Jim do in the bedroom, Nikki? You'd be like, gross, and I don't want to know what you,
we make jokes or whatever,
or Tom and Roberta do or whatever. I mean,
yeah, Tara's always pushing me into doing this weird
or whatever.
I know, Jim. She gets out the riding crop and she gets her cowgirl with spurs on it.
She wants me to put on this rubber horse mask.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, we make jokes or whatever, but who cares? I mean,
I thought it meant something else.
No, it's Q would be queer. If you're talking
well, why
about...
do you have to add that if you're L and G? That would cover that.
S.
And isn't
and the last I heard, the Q word is a bad word. It's not. They don't like that word. So I don't know.
They don't like that word. They don't like that. That's like degrading.
Well, what would Q be when you're talking
I don't
about?
know.
I think that was what it means, but
they just added it.
For straight,
maybe it's like the N word. Maybe it's like the N word. They're the only ones that can say it. I don't know.
Yeah, they added it.
Well, they used to have that show called Queer as Folk, and I mean that was like nobody said that show was bad. Yeah,
that was a good show, actually. It was kind of dirty, but it was actually a really good plot.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
I was embarrassed to say that I watched that show because there was so much sex in it. And I thought people looked down on me.
Drag Race. I used to watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
It was really a good show. It had a really good plot. I mean, it really did.
Roberta loves RuPaul's Drag Race.
I watch it some. I mean, it is amazing what they do. I mean, it is like an art form. Oh, you're right. Okay.
You know what?
There are some ugly looking men that become some pretty beautiful women.
Yeah. I mean, it amazes me. You'll have like a heavy set man and he puts the heels on and he's out there strutting his stuff and dancing and stuff. I'm like, wow, that guy can work it. Because I couldn't do that. I'll tell you that. I mean, he'd be out there like doing the splits or whatever. I'd be like, I'd bust my leg.
If you go on YouTube and look up Bangkok Nights, okay, they'll show Bangkok. It's this guy. He just sits there. He just videotapes what's going on, and it shows crazy.
He's street watching.
He's street watching, and you got these tourist guys are going to Bangkok to meet up with pros, and he goes, "Oh, that's a girl, boy. That's a girl," but you can't tell. I mean, I'm not sure the guy who's leaving with the girl boy knows it's a girl boy. I mean, they are dressed up. They are made up like women, and you can't tell that from the women.
Yeah, on RuPaul's Drag Race, some of these guys, they start putting on their makeup, and they sort of, when they first getting started, they look like. You remember World War II when they painted the boats in big splotches, so you can tell whether they were going, which end was the bow or which end was the stern. These guys, they've got all these dark colors on, and then by the time they're finished, they look like women. But it's just amazing. It's just amazing. It's like you've got a 1973 Super Beetle with two fenders that's one color and two fenders is another color.
There's also on YouTube. There's also this woman who will make herself look like Al Pacino. She'll make her look like that one who does the makeup. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. She does it in like fast forward, but it's amazing. Yeah, she takes the makeup and just by shading and stuff, she can make herself look like a whole bunch of different people, like Johnny Depp, or a lot of them are male. But I mean, her face, it's amazing. Just using the makeup, she can really transform herself. It's something else.
Well, a Southern Baptist preacher said one time, and he pissed off a lot of women. He says, "You can make an old barn look good with a coat of paint."
All right, guys, I'm going to bed.
Good night.
It's 11:20.
Mike says, "There's the only reason I care is that we are exposing our kids to all this crap. 5-year-olds don't need to know any of this. Schools are pushing moral decay.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I don't think like they have this thing now where they have like these children drag queens where they're like 3, 4, 5 years old, and I'm
Really?
like, why are you pushing sexuality on them? Yeah. I
That's
mean, there's this one little boy, and this is my big disagreement with it. I mean, they have video of the little boy in a gay bar. He's dancing on stage,
Yeah,
though,
that's
and
not
they're
good.
giving him money. That to me, you're like being like a stripper. He's not taking his clothes off, but he is dancing kind of provocative.
And
That's
you wouldn't
a little
put a girl that
disturbing.
age into
Yeah.
a male stripper, into a regular
Yeah.
stripper. Why is it okay for him? I mean, I don't agree.
I
that's
don't agree
not
with
good.
that.
Yeah.
And that's something you should. Most of that you should learn at home. I mean, you shouldn't. They shouldn't be teaching it in schools anyway.
Well, it's like there's this one kid that's real popular, and he's always on the news. I don't know what his name is, but he's a drag kid.
Yeah.
And
Desmond is amazing.
he, what happens when puberty hits in and the hormones start kicking in, and maybe he might decide that he likes girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. I guess you don't know. I mean, and even if he is going to be, even if he grows up to be gay, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. My point is, when you're putting your child out there, I think you wouldn't do that with your little girl. You wouldn't take your little girl to a bar all made up and have her dancing on the bar and have adult men giving her tips. That crosses the line, because you're putting them in a situation where they might become compromised. It would be my worry,
It's been years. I mean, it was right after Roberta and I got married. My best friend Chris and I, we went to Hooters to eat one night. And we had gone to a movie to see a movie that the girls didn't want to see. And then we went over to Hooters and ate bad chicken wings. And this guy comes in with his daughter, and she's probably about 9 or 10, and she's been to ballet because she's got her little ballet outfit on. This lady who was sitting with her husband and another older couple, she gets up and takes her blazer off and says, "Here, to the little girl, here, put this on, or put this around your shoulders. You shouldn't be in here dressed like that." And the father looked at her like, what a bitch. And because when she came in and Chris and I looked over at her, we're thinking, okay, is she, looking at job opportunities or what, Because, all these girls are walking around Hooters with their boobs hanging out just about.
I'll say this, and you might think I'm old fashioned when I say this, and I don't mean it in a bad way. We don't go out to eat at bars with my child at night. Because up here, you're going to have people that are tipsy, and I figure why should I send the example that that's okay behavior? And I'm not, I used to drink. I have no problem with it. But we do not take him out to eat at bars, honestly.
Yeah, but and you don't tell your kid everything you ever did when you were younger either.
True that.
You're not your kid's best friend. You're raising your kid. There's a difference between your parent and a kid's best friend.
Well, my thing is how many of us, when we were kids, had made decisions that we wanted to do with the rest of our lives and then changed our mind. I have a niece who she just wanted to, and a lot of kids are this way. They just want to retaliate or rebel against their parents or whatever. And so she figured it would tick us off if she was lesbian. So she practiced to being a lesbian. But she now, as an adult, she does not have that anymore. She wants to be she's straight. And it's like, she only did that to rebel against us. Right. So how many of these kids are doing this to try to rebel, and they're going to change their mind later, and these parents are letting them have these hormones and stuff? That's going to mess them up. I mean, yeah. I mean, if I know that some of the transgenders and everything, and if I'm saying the wrong word, I do not mean to offend. I don't know any better. It's ignorance. But I think it's transgender is the PC way to say it. But if some of these kids, I understand that, some of them, they do feel like they are in the wrong body. And a lot of these kids do go through that, and a lot of emotional pain and all this and that. And even gay and lesbians, they go through these issues as children, and I think it's horrible that they have to deal with that they can't be accepted the way they are. But as children, they should not be allowed to be taking hormones and all that other stuff. No, not until they're old enough to make that decision for themselves.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
it's just sad that, you know, I not that
some
it's
kids are
supposed to be,
confused
you
too.
know, you're not anything to be ashamed of, but I just think they need to dial it back, keep it
Hmm.
in the house.
Yeah.
So when this child or a child gets to be adolescent, you know,
Hmm.
if things change, then people are going to say, "What are you doing with a girl? You know, all your life you dressed as a girl yourself."
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, if my girls were lesbians, I would love them just the same. And I
Absolutely.
think, and I think, um, and I think parents should be that way with their kids. That whatever they decide they want to be, whatever, accept them for who they are.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but like I said, like the hormones and stuff, that's going a little too far.
Gender fluid. That was a term I was looking for a while ago. Karen at the beach said it was gender fluid. That's it.
Mhm.
And
But how horrible would that be feeling if you felt that you were in the wrong body? I mean, I couldn't even imagine that feeling like, geez, I should have been a man. You know, that's gotta be terrible for them. And honestly, instead of going and taking them to the doctor and getting them hormones, maybe you should be taking them to a psychiatrist so that they can have somebody that they can talk to, and that they can, and not to change them. I don't say to change them, but just an outlet for them to talk to, and be able to share their feelings openly, and stuff like that. That's what they should be spending their money on, not changing their hormones and stuff until they're old enough to make that decision.
yeah.
And,
Well,
and if as an adult they want to become a woman wants to become a man or vice versa, then so be it. That's their business. But yeah, more parents should just let their kids go to like a psychiatrist or something, or a psychologist or some kind of counselor or whatever, and let them talk it out with them, and it might help them a little bit, until they can make that decision on their own as an adult.
a friend of mine, his son came out when he was 16 years old. And my friend said that he told him, he said, "Son, that's okay." He says, "But you know, if you feel like if you at any time you feel like life's crashing in on you enough that you're feeling suicidal," he says, "you need to come see me, and we'll get through it." Because he said, this is nothing.
Mhm.
We can get through it." And that's his biggest concern, was that he would lose his son because he was so unhappy or so mixed up about the whole deal. And it's been, I guess, about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I was at a friend of mine that I went to high school. His parents were having like their 70th wedding anniversary. And his nephew was there, and his nephew's gay. And my friend's mother came up to me and says, "Have you met my grandson, Evan?
Mhm.
He's a practicing homosexual."
Well, geez.
And just as straight, I mean, just as straight faced as he could be. He says, "Well, Grandma, actually, I'm not practicing anymore. I hear I'm pretty damn good at it." And his grandmother was not amused, needless to say.
And if we treated people just like people, none of this would be a big issue. If we just let people do what they want to do, let gay people get married, let them do what they're going to do, let transgender dress the way they want or be the way they want, let everybody just be people. Look at people as people and not what they want to be sexually. Who cares? Just let them do their thing. They're not hurting anybody, you know.
I have my own take on the whole gay and lesbian marriage thing,
Mhm.
and it's really stupid, but it's my take. I've always, because when with my kids and they start talking about girls and whatnot, and why do girls say stuff like that and blah blah blah. I said because of my saying. You've heard me say it before. Girls are crazy and boys are stupid, and
Yeah.
they don't. Neither one of them really comprehend that.
Yeah.
And I said, so when you get two women together, they don't really they don't recognize crazy because they're both crazy, and two guys together they don't recognize stupid because they're both stupid.
Yeah.
So it just works out.
Mhm.
And I told a friend of mine that's lesbian and she's been married, or they just recently got married, but they've been living together for like 35 years.
Yeah.
She said, "Well, that's true." Her partner did not think it was funny, but she thinks I'm an asshole, and I think she's a bitch. So it doesn't really matter. So anyway,
Well, I believe with the gay and lesbian marriages, you know, for so many years, everybody didn't approve of being gay or lesbian because they thought they were immoral and that they were just sleeping around, and they weren't into monogamy. They weren't into staying with one person or whatever. You know, they were thought of as people that just slept around. Well, now they want to be where they're in a monogamous relationship and show their what do you call it with each other, their what do
they're
you call
what?
it? They're, that they want to be with the one person,
Right.
you know, and their commitment. And so why can't they, and legally they have houses, or they have kids, or whatever, and they just want to be able to, if one of them, god forbid, dies or something, then the other person can take over, just like anybody,
Right.
any other relationship. And I just think that they should be allowed to do that. And everybody says, oh, it's against God, whatever. Like I said, none of us are God. And
Yeah.
that's what everybody needs to stop thinking, is that they're God.
I'm a firm believer that you will stand before God and you will see, He will judge
And
you on your actions through life.
exactly. And honestly, I don't know, the God I believe in, I don't think he's gonna judge on what people did in the bedroom. They're gonna look at how those people, God is gonna look at how they lived their life, how they treated people, how they, that kind of thing. I don't think they're, and I just think they should be allowed to do whatever the hell they want. Leave them alone.
I mean, for the marriage thing, I mean, you think it protects their asset. If you
Yeah.
live together long term and your partner dies, I mean, you have the issue of,
Yeah.
transferring of assets and stuff. I mean,
Well, and that's the
like,
thing. I mean, even just a legal
no.
thing, not necessarily a getting into the church, but just the legal aspect of it. Yes, they should be allowed to do it just because of that reason.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. I mean, church and state. You're not supposed to mix church and state, but they always do. The government gets in with God.
No, I think they don't want to give them the married person's credit and stuff like that,
It's just, to me, it's all about, I mean, you're right about protecting their assets because, like I said, I know a gay couple that has been together for, well, they're in their 70s. They're a friend of mine's older brother and his spouse. They they own a couple of companies and real estate rental properties and stuff like that. And if they were not married now, what in the world? Um, can you imagine the legal problems that this other one would have?
Oh, exactly.
Mr. Sadie, you're like 2 hours late, son.
Hi, Mr. Sadie. Better late than never,
We
right,
just
buddy?
jumped off the tracks about 45 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago.
Then we look for the tracks. They're off course now.
I'll tell you what, that rudder's a little bit off kilter.
We ran off course a long time ago.
Did you, Tara? Did you say y'all sold those Bigfoot skis that y'all got at the auction?
Yeah, a while back. Yeah, were they in a video this summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we sold them. I think we got 85 or 90 bucks for them.
Do I need to pray?
What did I
Feel
miss?
free to, Mr. Sadie. Feel free. It's a good prayer helps everybody.
Yeah.
No, I was the other day. I thought, maybe this summer, Jim and Tara can come down and I can borrow my brother's boat and we can go out and see if we can get Jim up on those things.
Yeah, if we wanted to break his neck or something. No, we tube. I don't go on water skis. Honestly, I don't even like tubing that much always. We tube. We do not water ski. I don't need to pop my knee out or something on some pair of water skis out dragging around behind a boat.
I used to have, I'm not sure, I don't know what happened to it. I had a little ski that was a slalom and it was probably 2.5 feet long.
Yeah.
And when you jumped on that thing, you had to be moving to keep that sucker above water. Because if you didn't and you let that nose dip, next thing you know, the water's approaching your face at about 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, no. I mean, I ride on the tube a little bit. I mean, but Jim goes fast, and then, I mean, it hurts my boobs. There, I said it. I mean, I'm laying on my stomach on that tube in a swimsuit, and it don't feel good. So, anyway.
Oh, I love tubing.
Okay, but you don't have any boobs, do you, Nikki?
No.
Okay, well, I got a pair of boobs. I don't want to be gross. I'm wearing a swimsuit with no bra, and I'm on these, like, when you're going fast on top of the water, on waves and that, it's like blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's just like I'm getting beat up the whole time.
Not all of us have those issues. Some of us can enjoy being on a tube.
Yeah, some of us can. I suppose if I wore a sports bra under my swimsuit, it probably wouldn't be as bad. I don't know.
Maybe you just need to buy a more supportive swimsuit.
I guess maybe. I don't know. Because I'd be like, okay, Jim, I've had enough. Anyway.
Have y'all taken
or just wear a t-shirt and shorts so you can wear your bra underneath.
Have y'all taken the boats to Kentucky yet?
Yeah, they're gone. They're down there. Yeah, we took them down pretty much right away because when we lost their storage building to store them in, so they were outside. So we took them to Kentucky with us because we could run them underneath a roof then, and then they're at least under some cover.
Tara, Frankie,
I think they were. Yeah.
Padded cups.
Yeah, I think they were, but it was like somebody was slapping me around or something. I'm like, okay, I've had enough. I'll drive the boat. Thank you.
Oh, God.
I don't like feeling like somebody took a rolling pin to my chest for like a half a day afterward.
Lord have mercy. Y'all are amazing. Well, we've had 18 people in here for about.
Yeah, they've found it. We've talked about eBay selling, transgenders, gay marriage rights, my boobs on a tube. I mean, we pretty much covered the whole spectrum.
Karen's at the beach said she watched that Abducted in Plain Sight and how frustrating. Yes, I know. Tara, you should watch that Abducted in Plain Sight.
I don't like watching those kind of movies.
Well, you should watch it. It's good. You're gonna feel like, what?
Speed bag. Yeah, it is like speed bags at the boxing gym. Yeah, yeah, because then he also does that where he turns short, so that you hit those wave wakes, behind the boat. Yeah.
I, for one, love him. So.
Well, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm saying I can only take so much of it before I gotta quit.
And as you can see, I am always driving. Here it is, almost 11 o'clock at night, and I'm driving.
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
I'm going to pick up my other daughter. I'm going to pick up Amanda from work.
Oh.
My husband's waiting. Her car needs to be fixed, but my husband's waiting until it warms up. So I've had to bring her.
The one she just got?
No, she got this car. No, that was Brandy that bought a new car.
Okay.
Amanda got this car from an auction for like $500 like, a year and a half ago? She got it for like $500, so, there was going to be problems eventually. She had a good run with it without problems. But she only lives she only works like 5 minutes from her house, so it's not a big deal to run over here and grab her. At least now, not that if I was in Poplar, it'd be but then her older sister would do it. So.
Are you in Brandy's car?
Yeah. Yeah, because our truck's plugged in, and it's easier to find a spot on the street to park this than it is the big diesel. So.
Right. Speaking of diesel, Tara, in the showroom at the Chevrolet dealership, they had a 2500 fully maxed out pickup truck with the diesel engine. It was $94,000.
Yeah, I'll never own one that cost me that much money.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, that's a house.
Yeah, no. I was going by the Ford dealership like 2 summers ago, and I actually had to look twice. I'm like, Jesus. Anyway, Jim, is that price tag say $78,000 on that truck? And you went like, no way. Anyway.
Which one was it? 1500 or 150?
I think it was probably a 3/4 ton.
Which is 350?
250. A 350 is a 1 ton. Yeah, no, I always drive an older vehicle. I'm not going to have that kind of payment.
I was tripping out. I mean, this was not a work truck. I mean, it was definitely not a work truck.
Yeah.
And I would be afraid to throw something in the back of it that I would scratch it.
Well, I'll tell you what I really, really want, but I don't really want to loan the money to get it. I want to have like one of those GMC top kicks. Do you know what I'm talking about? They're like 1.5 tons, I think. And then you can get them with an extended cab and a 4-door. They'd be like your Kodiaks or your Chevy. I think Chevy is a Kodiak, or GMC is, I think it's called a Top Kick.
Right.
That would be really nice to have, like to put on a horse trailer and stuff. But I'm just gonna live with what I got.
Yeah, it won't be too much longer before you have to find Brandon a sports car.
Yeah, I'll find myself a sports car, and he can have some other car.
He can drive that van he's been riding around in for.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell that van. It's in a snowbank right now. I can't quite get it out because we got all that snow and the bank of snows around it. But my intention is to sell that van while I'm still up here because it's got that Wisconsin rust on it. Right. And then I don't want to try to sell it down there.
Well, you got the Explorer now. I mean the
Expedition. Yeah.
So that's bigger than that van, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's not as comfortable as the van. I mean, the van is super comfy. I will say conversion vans are great for traveling and stuff, but right. I mean, we'll probably even get another conversion van, but I'd rather just buy it down in the south because we got all that salt and that liquid sodium on the roads up here. I mean, the rust gets really bad up here on them. My father-in-law has a Lincoln Aviator, And they're always, it's in Florida now, and they're always like, oh, it's rusting to pieces. It's rusting to pieces because you get like these mechanics underneath it, and they don't see that kind of stuff like rust on the frame and that. But that's because it was up here.
Mr. Sadie said, "Ain't that a song? What I really, really want."
Yeah, maybe that's what I really want.
And you know, Valerie's husband just got a new truck, and she said she scratched it a couple of days ago.
Yeah, well, he's in the heating and cooling business, so that's like a. I understand it. That's like a work truck. You know, it's like a truck that's making you money.
And Mr. Sadie says my truck it has 43,000 miles on it, and I have 8 payments left. Thank you, Jesus.
I ain't bad. Yeah, the last one I had a truck payment on was a 3/4 ton 2005 or 2003. I bought it when it was 2 years old, and that was the last truck payment I had.
What did he say, Valerie, or did you tell him? She said the day that they paid it off is the day she scratched it. She says, no, that must be his personal truck, not the work truck.
Jim's always scratching my trucks up. He had that Expedition. It has those it has like a cover on the bottom of the doors. We had that thing like 3 days, and he knocked one of those off. He's like, "Well, I got a snowbank. I couldn't help myself. I'll have to fix it and put it back on." He's always doing that stuff to my vehicles.
Well, you're just gonna have to quit letting him drive one.
That's why I don't let him drive on the road. Because sometimes he takes and drives them around the yard and then scratches them up. Yeah, he wrecked my tailgate on my 3/4 ton. Every time, because I pull those gooseneck trailers. So you unhook them, you drop the tailgate. And I don't know how many times he'd be out there unhooking and I see him put the tailgate up. I'm like, "You're not putting that tailgate up, are you?" "Oh, yeah. Well, I wasn't out there one day. He's unhooking that trailer, went and put that tailgate up, and then just proceeded to drive out from under the trailer. You know, where you got that gooseneck hitch, put a big dent in my tailgate. It's like U-shaped now, so.
You didn't hurt him, did you?
No, I mean, because he always is doing that. He's always breaking my vehicles. I had a 1997. He broke the axle on it. I mean, he's always like, he put a big dent in another one of my trucks. He's always denting up my truck.
What are you going to do with him?
True that.
Well, guys, I've got to go to bed. I have to get up early in the morning at like 5 o'clock, and it's 12 minutes to 5. I mean, 12 minutes to 12.
Oh, boy. See, it's only 12 minutes to 11 here.
What did he say? Too much to type on here, but laugh out loud. But he ordered a scratch repair kit, and if that doesn't work, I'm taking it for repairs. My God, girl, how big a scratch did you put on it? Like,
did you run into a cow?
I mean, really?
Oh my God, you all got modern vehicles. The newest vehicle I own is that Expedition, which I think is an 05. I live like with antique vehicles. Mr. Sadie's like, I got a 2015, and Valerie's got new stuff.
I have a 2000 Chrysler.
Is that your newest one?
No, Roberta's got a 2007.
Oh, you beat me by 2 years. Yeah, I think that Expedition is a 5, and then before that, my newest one was a 3.
We wanted something we could pay cash for.
Yeah.
I just don't want any payments.
Yeah, I feel you. That's me too. I don't really want to have a car payment.
You know, if I could afford $34,000 for this Traverse I saw, then if I had enough cash to pay for it, then I'd buy it. Otherwise, it's going to be sitting in the Chevrolet dealership parking lot.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? If I can afford to pay cash for something, then I might buy it. But I just don't want any payments.
Yeah. I agree.
Because you never know what's going to happen. Like Roberta having her liver transplant, that just about bankrupted us.
Yeah. Well, and like for me, because we don't have any other job, I mean, eBay fluctuates sometimes. I don't want to have a car payment, and be making a living on eBay. The less payments you can have, the easier it is making a living off of selling online.
Right. How does she like her Traverse, Mr. Sadie? He said he paid cash for his wife's Traverse.
Oh, cool.
First new car ever paid cash for.
Wow. I can't say I ever paid cash for a new car.
Well, I think she loves it. I think Mr. Sadie's about 75 years old.
Oh, boy. Those sound like fighting words.
I have no idea. I don't think I've ever seen Mr. Sadie.
No, he's not that old. He's like Jim's age, or maybe just a little older.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, he's a young guy. Well, listen, y'all, thanks for coming and hanging out with me.
Yeah, no problem, Tom.
Are you still listening?
No, I'm going to go to bed when you're done.
Okay. Well, let's wrap it up. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for everybody coming in that's in the chat. Hope we didn't piss anybody off.
Yeah, where our intentions are not to offend anybody.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't get any thumbs down. That's amazing.
Oh, good one. That's great.
Oh, yeah, I probably should have waited until we were off air.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah,
you know, there's going to be somebody watching this going, challenge accepted.
Oh, sorry, Tom. I was just amazed by it because of the broad topics we were covering tonight.
Some hot topics, yeah.
Well, we stayed on topic for the first 2 hours, and then we kind of slid off.
But everybody that watches us knows that we don't mean any ill intent to anybody, you know. Right. And if we said some words that we weren't supposed to say, honestly, it wasn't to tick anybody off or be. It honestly was just out of ignorance, if anything, you know, just because we don't know the proper wording.
Yeah.
Oh, good one, Nick. You now plead ignorance for everything you said.
They changed so much. I don't ever know what to say.
And thank you, Tara. Now I have a thumbs down.
Oh no! Oh, they took it away. They're just messing with you.
I don't care. Thumbs up, thumbs down. It all works the same way.
Yep.
Oh boy, you're getting up there on subs, Tom. You're all the way up to 429.
Oh, way to go!
Oh shit! I've lost somebody. He had 430 when I started.
Oh, it might have been from tonight's show. Sorry, Tom.
Transgender person.
I'm more concerned about the 4,000. You know, as I said earlier today when I was talking with Deb, I really don't care anything about, you know, I mean, it'd be nice to make a little bit of coin off of it. But I would just like to be able to say, oh, yes, I have 1,000 subscribers and I'm monetized.
Yeah.
I might only make $1 a month, but at least I can say it.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
I'm up to over 1,200 subscribers.
Are you? Well, you have good content.
Yeah, you're a superstar. I think I'm like at, where am I at? I think I'm like 580 or something. I don't know.
You gotta start pushing your channels more.
I'm doing shit. I mean, right now I just don't. Actually, Jim took a haul video like before he left for Kentucky, and he still hasn't uploaded it.
I'm telling you, if you guys had all the stuff about your moving on there, you guys would have totally.
Oh yeah, that'd be real great. Like, 574. Yeah, me and Jim like arguing or bickering. Yeah, that'd be. I really want that on YouTube.
People would have loved that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, they're not gonna get it. It's gonna be the secret life of Tara and Jim. Yeah.